And welcome back. This is Skill Issue, where we talk about video games.
We talked about a movie one time.
We did talk about a movie one time.
Yeah.
Video game movies, video game news. We have a lot of opinions. And if you don't like them,
It might be a skill issue.
it could be a skill issue because we're either right or we're lying.
Yeah, we're either right or we're
That's how
lying.
this goes. Today is no different. Today, we're talking Expedition 33, the long-awaited.
We are talking Expedition 33 today.
We are
It's also
Expedition
the-
33.
It's a great time though because it's also being super nominated.
It's a great time
It is
to talk
being
about it.
glazed to the heavens,
Yeah.
man. It, like no one stops the glaze train.
Yeah, this is
So-
being recorded shortly after the announcement
The announcement
of all the nominees
Yeah,
for
the Game Awards.
Game Awards,
Yeah,
yeah.
so for those who don't know, the Game Award nominations. They had a stream giving the nominations 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
And Nathanael, how many was it nominated for?
Unfortunately, it was above 7. Otherwise, I could make that joke. But
Oh.
it was
12.
12. It was
12.
It was 12.
So it beat out the previous record, which was The Last of Us 2 that had 11.
which is also entirely too
probably
high.
should not have had
Far
11.
too high for that.
Yeah, nothing fishy was going on
But
there.
but I will say this one deserves it more than that one, and I can say that because me and Mariah played through that for the first time this year, all the way through.
Both games were played.
Yeah,
This
both
year.
games are played. So here's how we're doing this today. We'll go ahead and go around. I'm Nathaniel.
Connor.
Jason.
And I'm Ben.
We got the 4 of us here today.
All four.
Whole squad here today.
And we are
Though-
excited for this one.
We're excited about this one. We've had this ready for a while. This has been the one in the chamber for me for a really long time.
It's been in the, he's had it in the chamber.
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
We're ready to
and those of us
shoot.
Yeah. Those of us who have finished it
Ready
are
to
me and
shoot.
Connor. We finished it.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
So they both played it, and I watched Connor play through probably 85% of it.
I feel like you saw
90%.
most
And
of it
I
from
know
what heard.
nothing.
Like
about
90%
this
of it.
game.
Ben knows
I've-
nothing, so he's.
I haven't
so
watched any playthroughs. I haven't watched any content about
You've seen
this.
the 3 minutes of it being up on the screen right now
Yeah.
for reference.
I walked
Yeah.
around in circles and watched the other character freak out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and certain physics. He messed around with the physics engine a little bit just to see what they got, and that's one of our pros for today. Actually,
Sometimes you got to see what they got.
You do have to see.
You just gotta check it out.
So here's how we're thinking we're gonna do this today. Since we're doing another, this is our second cooperative dual review that we're doing. Our first one was Indiana Jones. Loved that
Shout
one.
out to that one, by
Shout
the
out
way.
to shout out to an
Oh,
actual
and,
all timer.
Shout out to its singular
Can we-
nomination.
Yeah,
Two, right? There's adventure game and
Was it?
and
Oh.
acting.
Yeah, can we talk about the
I'm
fact
so
that
glad.
Indiana Jones got 2?
It's major snub because then KCD2 also only got 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Insane, absolutely ridiculous.
So you could, okay, to put that in perspective, you could have 2 Indiana Joneses and 2 Kingdom Come Deliverance 2s, and it still wouldn't be as many.
It wouldn't be half.
Yeah. Well,
No, one of each would be.
Yeah, it'd be well,
because
yeah.
it's a 6 total. We got 4 and 2.
Okay.
so that would be 6. I think it's 4. It might be 3 even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What were the nominations
say.
for exactly?
For KCD2, it got
No,
best.
for Clair.
Everything.
Expedition.
literally
Like,
everything.
If you can think of a category, it got nominated for it.
If it
Really?
could
Yeah,
pretty
possibly
much.
fit the category, it got nominated.
Yeah.
Yes, if
Okay.
it could even fit the category in any remote
3
way, it got nominated. Yeah.
3 of those nominations were for voice acting. And 3 out of 3 of those nominations were not even the best voice acted character in the game.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
We will get into that.
But let's cut the chatter, and let's put it on a platter.
Let's cut the cheese.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and go into high level overview first. We're gonna split this into different sections. We're gonna start overview of the game.
Let's
talking
give it an
about what it
overview.
is, the context of it, when it came out, that kind of the history of it. Then we're gonna go into positives. Me and Connor go back and forth. Then we're gonna get into our negatives, and then we're gonna give a score. That's how we're doing this today.
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, we
Section-
say Expedition 33. The full name of this game is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This game came out earlier this year. It was what is it, like an April release?
It was an earlier year.
Yeah, it was earlier in the year. An underdog sleeper hit, I would say, for a lot of people.
Indeed.
And so here's the thing. I'm going to try to be as objective as possible with this. And so if we are being objective and we're telling it as it is, it was a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
Financially, if nothing else. Financially, it did the rounds earlier this year. Like it hit 3 million players or 3 million copies sold before Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 did, which came out 2 months before that, and which also like came with critical review or critical acclaim.
Do you mean like
Wah, wah.
as in like the price of the game or the price of development?
Wait, what?
The profit it made.
The profit, yeah.
Bro is out of the loop.
Sorry.
No, okay, but that's a good point because I do think it's actually very important to bring up the price of this game and how much it was at release.
Yeah.
Because that is arguably one of the biggest selling points is the fact that indie developer, this is their first Sandfall Interactive, based out of France. This is their first launch, their first game they came out with. It launched at $50.
40.
I thought it was 40.
I think it's 40. Yeah.
I think it's 40.
PlayStation might be different. Sorry.
PlayStation might be different. I paid $50 for this game.
I paid 40.
FR *NCE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took me a second.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah. Okay, wait, Connor, you talk for a second. I want to look this up. I got to see.
So, I mean, it was kind of the first in a line of trends we've seen throughout this year, though, that was games below median price being like $70.
Yeah.
Again, after that, we've had games like Arc Raiders, Silk Song, Dispatch. Like all three of those games that have come out this year are all much less than $70.
New games just coming out, and they're not following. I feel like,
and everyone was scared about that because when they, on
Nintendo was
Switch
putting
2,
out $80 games.
Nintendo was like, oh, Mario Kart, if you don't get it in the bundle, $80. Obsidian was like, Outer Worlds 2, what if we do 80? And they got crazy pushback, and now it's 70, which is good.
I didn't know that. That's good.
Yeah,
70 is still so much, though.
70 is still a lot for a game, but that's why this is good, and that's why you have to give credit where credit's due.
For sure.
That they did launch it at $50, even though you could easily say this was a $70 game. Like it compares to a lot of other modern day $70 games. If you say like the offerings that the game has, like the amount of things you can do. I might take that one back later, because there really is only pretty much one thing and 1.5 things you can do this game.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about the time spent into you think about the production quality, you think about the voice acting talent on board. All those things considered, it absolutely should be $70 in any other circumstance.
Oh yeah.
But that point has been done to death online. That's we're not doing anything
Did
new
I mention
saying
it's
that.
not $70?
Yeah, okay. We're gonna get past that. I feel like we've kind of harped on that a little bit. RPG is a really interesting term.
Yeah.
If you look at the games that were nominated for RPG of the year,
Role-playing game.
The variety of games on offer for role-playing game this year is so vast that I think that the term needs to be officially changed. Because if you want to say I'm role-playing in this, like that can mean so many different things. I think Clair Obscur 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I think Dispatch got nominated for role-playing game.
Okay,
no.
Well, here's my thing
no
with role-playing games.
Yeah.
When I think of role-playing games, I think of a character, like you're a main character who, like, he might have a name and he might have a backstory, but for all intents and purposes, you're controlling like his actions and what he does. Like you are him.
Yeah.
Like, for example, as far as JRPGs go, like in Persona 5, like Joker is a character with a backstory and everything, but you're controlling how he acts, like what he does, all this stuff. Like
you are making him your version.
You're making him, yes. But in this game,
this game, it is such a stretch to call it role playing because here's the thing, there are some voice like change or not voice change, dialogue options, but they're
like,
so minimal
and
that
none
you
of
can
them really
barely
do
call
anything.
it that. No, it's like you go in two different directions just to lead back to the same place. That's what it's like. Sorry, we're getting outside of it. In fact, I'm trying to find a way to describe what this game is.
Like, yeah, it's unfortunately, like, if we go by that, then like none of the Final Fantasy games are RPGs either.
Right.
So
right.
it's like, well, yeah.
I think that's a conversation for a different time because I do think that it's been talked about a lot right now. The fact that this year more than ever, all the nominations for Game of the Year for the RPG category are so different from one another that not a single game is like the other game. Like I wouldn't qualify any of the games in there as the same genre as the others, yet they're all being nominated for being the same genre.
It is quite a bloated term. It is. At this point, it's almost like just calling it a video game.
Yeah. And at this point, it's got to the point where like depending on which one wins,
Indeed.
I would even qualify as category fraud for certain ones. I think if this one wins RPG, I think that is blatant, flagrant category fraud.
Well,
especially compared to, you cannot say that this deserves over Kingdom Come
Kingdom
Deliverance
Come
2.
Deliverance
different.
2
Just-
is definitively a role-playing
For
game.
sure, yeah.
There is no game that is more of a role-playing game than KCD 2.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I guess like I wonder like when we're defining like role playing game, it's like, are you?
I'm saying there's enough
are you-
history of this style of game being categorized as an RPG, where even if it doesn't fit like certain criteria, it has for so long.
Well,
It's kind of like, what else are you going to put it in?
Yeah.
But are we talking about like you can play as any role inside of the game?
I don't know,
and you
bro.
can make the character what you want, or is it like you have to play to a certain category?
Well, that's kind of
Or
what we're
it's
getting
like-
at. Is
what-
it's like
Like
No
the
one knows.
semantics
Who
here,
knows?
the semantics are a little interesting because it's like
It is.
GTA 5 is a role playing game.
I would
Yeah.
say that is I would say that does a better job at being a role playing game than this does under that scenario.
Yeah.
Under the scenario of a
more
role playing game
freedom of
being like
choice and,
yes,
like,
yeah. I think
you can
that's the
make
biggest
Trevor
thing.
be a good guy.
I think
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I think freedom of choice in being able to choose any route that you want and then being rewarded with different outcomes depending on what you choose. I think that is the purest form of what a role-playing game should be.
Okay.
And for that, I would say something like Baldur's Gate 3 from a few years ago. That is like pure unadulterated role playing. Anything that's under like the D&D kind of like sphere is like role playing to the fullest. I would say and this could be sacrilege to some. I would say that like Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout New Vegas, like those kind of games, that's RPG because you are playing a role and you're creating the role that you're playing and then you're
in New
playing
Vegas.
yeah.
I think I wasn't aware people didn't agree with that.
No, there are some people that say that doesn't count as much as some of the other ones, and they say that it's too easy to. Anyway,
I guess the reason that I have some confusion around it is because of like from like a league background, it's like you play a certain role for the team.
That's
And it's
fair.
like then you have to play that role.
You're playing
Right.
a role in a game.
It's a
And
mobile
that's
RPG.
why- That's why I think at this point we just need to create new categories for it.
Yeah.
And
I think we need to abolish the Game Awards.
Abolish
yeah.
a game
Oh my gosh, I was watching Angry Joe's video on it earlier.
I love Angry Joe.
them-
Shout out Angry
I
Joe
know,
again.
I know. Shout out once again to him. Him and the other guys were reacting to the nominees, and one thing that Alex on the group was talking about, which Alex I think is maybe the best guy on the group. I think he doesn't give enough credit. He was basically saying that what it comes down to is that all the other industry experts that make up 90% of the voting power for the Game Awards are appointed by Jeff Keighley. That means the guy that's running the Game Awards puts his own people in power and then gets to celebrate the games that he likes the most.
People call the Jeff Keighley Awards.
This sounds like some
Exactly.
kind of like Latin American regime or something.
yeah, it
yeah,
does.
pretty much.
But that's
Like,
I mean, and the thing is, so that's why it matters a lot who he's friends with. He's really good friends with Kojima. You might see a lot of Death
There's
Stranding
a lot of
wins.
Kojima,
I think
yeah.
if Death Stranding 2 wins Game of the Year this year, which it could, I think you could
That would be the
easily
funniest
chalk it
thing
up
of all
to that.
time.
It would be so hilarious.
Counterpoint. Who wouldn't want to be friends with Kojima?
No, it's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
With that said-
we're getting really far away from Expedition 33.
Okay, so
To reel it
overview
back
of the
in.
game. It is a role-playing game.
It's kind of a JRPG. It's kind of like Connor. Like
It's an FRPG.
it's
an FRPG.
newly minted FRPG. Yeah, France. Yeah,
Yeah.
France are-
It's
yeah.
I mean, the developer is very outspoken on all of his like inspirations from different classic RPGs.
They're worn on its sleeve. Yeah,
Yeah, so it definitely is like fitting the mold of several different things at once.
Yeah, it
Namely,
is.
a lot of JRPGs.
It's turn-based combat, but it does put a spin on it, and I know this is something that's been said to death. It does put a very interesting spin on it with the real-time dodging and parrying mechanics. And so a lot like the whole game, and that's why I say there's like only two things to
So-
do. You can run around it and you can fight. That's what you have to do in this game.
So in like a normal turn-based game, when it's the enemy's turn, they're just going to hit you, and you just
They're
have
gonna
to
hit
tank.
you, and
just have
you
to.
gotta tank it.
Yes, you just have to tank it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you die and you lose. Like you just have
Yeah.
to prepare.
If
But
it's
in
fear and
this
hunger,
game,
you lose a limb.
Yeah. In this game, you can either
Yep.
dodge the attack, you can parry the attack.
Yeah, and so you can go into like places that you are much underleveled for and just learn the attack patterns like a Souls game or something like
Yes.
that, and just learn how to parry. And at that point, it almost becomes a rhythm game in a way.
And it fundamentally changes what a turn-based game is.
Yeah,
So
it does that well.
Let's think a little broader for a second in the overview.
Sure.
And give our general thoughts about our time with the game.
Okay, before we get into the positives,
and then go back into the pros of being one of them being like I guess the combat system. In a way.
Yeah. Okay. Overview for me, I put about like the way that the game. Okay, sorry, real quick tangent because this does tie into it.
Yeah.
The way that games qualify how much time you've spent in the game is so confusing to me. In this game, like in Expedition 33, like when I'm looking at the title, it says like upper 30s. When I go in the PlayStation thing, it says like 50 something hours. And then I'm like, I know for a fact I spent 60 something hours total. So none of those numbers are aligning with one another. I don't know how they qualify that. All I have to say, I have spent in between 50 and 60 hours on this game. I spent a good amount of time. I was very outspoken earlier this year in that it can't be that good. That was my stance. I was really hardline on the stance that the way people are talking about this, it can't be that good. However, being who I am, I gave it a try, and I gave it the full. Like I played through the entire game. I
gave
played
it a good
normal
college try.
difficulty. I did not like being the person I am who doesn't like these kind of games. I didn't put on easy to make it easier. I played it as intended, normal all the way through. Even though I don't like this kind of stuff typically, I really like went into like finding the material. I explored. I didn't just like streamline go through the game. I explored. I did like extra. I did some side stuff. I did some of the side content and the relationship quests and stuff like that. Some of them, and I went all the way through and I beat it. And so overall, like I did play the entire thing, and I will say just kind of like off the bat, I think it is a very good game. I'll get into the specifics later, but that's kind of my stance from the beginning, is that I do think that despite being someone who is typically against this kind of stuff, I have to admit that to a certain degree, I was a little wrong on my stance on this. And
So
I do think,
you weren't wrong. You just lied a little bit to begin with.
actually, yes, you're
Bit of
right.
falsehoods.
Yes, I lied. I lied a little. Yeah. But yeah, so I can't say anything else without getting into my specifics. So I'm gonna let Connor say what he's gonna say, and then we'll get into positives.
Well, no, you can give like your general like what's the vibe? Like what do you think about?
Oh,
it?
that's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I think what I'm thinking is that it's cool. Like stylistically, I think that it's a fun like world. I think that there's a lot of very interesting and objectively like unique and original concepts. And I think that that's a big point that people try to make with this, is that just based alone on the fact that it does a lot of things that have never been done before, it deserves the flowers that it's getting, which to a certain degree I agree with. I think that like the style is really cool. I think that the combat, it did win me over to a certain degree, and I think there was certain parts about it that I had fun with. I learned the parry timing for certain things. Like there are certain parts where I was like, hey, I just want to like blast through this, and I don't want to have to reconfigure my pictos. Like I don't want to reconfigure the way that my stats and my loadout is. And so I was like, you know what? I could do this, and I have done it before, but what if I just like go through this and I learn the attack pattern and I parry everything and I go through. And so I tried different methods, and it was fun, and I did enjoy my time there.
Yeah. I think it in a vacuum, like in and of itself, was really like a needed breath of fresh air.
Yes, like it is important. I know, like there's the joke of like, oh, this is like mandatory education for video gamers going.
That's why I have to say in and of itself.
Yes, in a vacuum is a really good way of putting it, because yes, I do think that it is good for the games industry. This game is healthy and it's important for the games industry at large. But to say more would be getting into my specifics. So I'm gonna hand it over to Connor now.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that we have extremely similar takeaways from this. You probably can tell from the way we're wording things that it's like
A but is coming.
yes,
And it's not CLs.
there's a yeah, there's like
I wish.
but there are some things that I think are, I don't know, overlooked. Like,
Oh my gosh, dude!
There are
people
some-
are like just like looking way. They're like trying to like look
Yeah.
past some like the elephants in the room here.
there are some very reasonable qualms that I don't really see people talking about.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
game that did jump out at me through my playthrough. So I think because of that, both of our takeaways are like, it's a good game. It's definitely above average, but to call it things that other people are saying, like the comment defenders are, it's just not accurate.
To say that this is one top 10 best games of all time, Moist Critical, is objectively wrong. Because there are enough issues
Did he
with
actually
it.
call it a top 10?
Yeah, well, he did like a top ranking of like all the games he's ever played or whatever, like his favorite ones.
I feel like I'm crazy.
Yeah, and I think that you can say subjectively yes, but you cannot say that this is objectively one of the like top 10 best games of all time. I think that is abject falsehood, and that there are enough issues that we're going to bring up that you cannot ignore those in that kind of ranking. I think it is actually wrong to say that this is the best game of the year. I think that you can say that if you like this kind of game anyway, but if you are someone who isn't a die-hard JRPG turn-based combat kind of person,
And even if you are,
you shouldn't, because there are two other games that came out this year that actually are significantly better than this. But even then, it's like I can see you saying it's subjectively this is my favorite, but you can't say it was better than two of the other ones that we'll talk about later.
I think as far as the overview is concerned, looking at some of the comments that we've mentioned before we get into it is a good idea.
Yeah. Let's
Do you have
read
any of those
I
pulled
have
up?
Connor, you pull some up too. I have one locked and loaded that I can bring up.
I mean, this
So this
it
game
would be wrong to say that this like. I want to. Obviously, we're going to score and judge the game in a bubble, but in light of awards coming up soon,
You can't not acknowledge this
all
kind
of the
talk.
discourse online. Yeah, we might as well.
This
like,
is one of
look at
the
it.
most talked about games I've ever seen.
Period. It's a little absurd, and I think that people really like the fact that there's something to grab onto, to latch onto. And I think some people who have never played another like actual story-based video game in the past however many years, this is their first foray into like story, like narrative-based video games in a while. And because they've missed out on so much, they're like, oh, this is the best thing of all time. I'm like, okay, say that you haven't played a game since the Atari. Like it's ridiculous. Here's the original post. No exaggeration, Expedition 33 is the kind of masterpiece that's going to be impossible to ignore for any future discussion about games. For gamers, it's basically mandatory education.
and core curriculum. Like, all right, man. All right, man. Like,
they're not paying you, bro. They're not going to hire you, bro.
all I'm saying is that if someone said the exact same words to you about like Persona, you'd be like, shut up.
Yeah, it'd be like, all right, hop off it, dude.
That's one of my favorite games ever. And if you're saying that, it's like,
All right. Like, listen.
take a shower.
Calm down, dude.
Take a shower.
And then the other comment
If
was
it's
like
about the Warframe though, then yeah,
the comment above that was like, this is legitimately like when white people taste Caribbean food for the first time.
Yeah.
It's so absurd to be able to like look at this game despite some of the big glaring issues that it has and be like, this is one of the most important things that's ever been done. It's good. Like I said, it's healthy and it's important for this year, for this era of games that we have, where a lot of stuff is just kind of like AAA, like corporate rehash kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking at like, as someone who has been playing games for like almost 30 years at this point, you look at the general like history of video games and what's been important and what's played a big part in like adjusting the way that games are made and everything.
Yeah.
It's good and it does that well, but it's not so much better than the other ones that you can unironically say the things that these people are saying.
Yeah. And I've seen people defend it too, being like, you don't understand, this game has characters that have something they stand for, and they develop and they're interesting and it impacts the story. I'm like,
what? Yeah. All right.
So I think that's kind of our thesis sentence before jumping into like the actual meat and potatoes.
Yeah. Actually, this screenshot.
Oh, yeah, do you have another one?
Well, this guy
But wait, there's more.
This is just kind of a thing that I saw.
Yeah.
Where someone said, I enjoyed playing the game, but it's not really groundbreaking in any aspect other than being made in a Western studio rather than Japan. And then someone said, just another way of saying you didn't play the game. One of the best stories, soundtracks, and very satisfying gameplay system. Crazy work. And so he said, the story, while good, isn't all that original. And we joked about it being French Xenoblade. Soundtrack-wise was awesome, but so are a lot of games. And the gameplay systems have been in JRPGs for decades. Thanks for proving my point.
Yeah, literally just proving his point. To play devil's advocate a little bit, I will say though that a big part of it, if you're at all interested in the story of this
Just had to get
game,
this out of the way, though. We'll continue.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
So some context behind this that I think is really important to acknowledge. And if you're interested in the history of like the making of this game, please watch Skill Up's little mini documentary on YouTube about Clair Expedition 33 and Clair Obscur. I keep forgetting that word. And the making of it and the studio behind it. He does really in-depth, like actual one-on-one interviews with developers, like the director of the game, the guy who did the music. There is a lot that was against this game. So for
Skill Up
instance,
rocks.
he's really good. He's a very good like game journalist. He's
wanna be
maybe
a guest on a
the
podcast?
best, maybe the best game journalist.
Yeah.
But one of the things with the music, and this is why I will be voting for this for music for Game of the Year, for the Game of the Year awards, is because of the guy's story. Like the guy was he posted like randomly on some like forum online, like just a snippet of the music that he was like in the middle of making. He wasn't even like someone who was in the industry. He didn't even do music as like a main career, I don't believe. And the game director was just like looking for people for talent online, heard a little snippet of his song, brought him in. He was like, hey, could you direct this kind of music and do this? And he did. And he like actually did some actual next level Shakespearean level, like, and I say that because of the context of the fact that he didn't do this normally and he did this all on his own. That's the important key part, is that there are some crazy success stories to be found within the context of Sandfall Studios here that should not have ever worked otherwise. And so I do have to give it acknowledgement for that, because stuff like that with like that guy, other things with the writer, like who established the lore in this game, who she just like auditioned to be a voice actor just for the fun of it. Like she was in the middle of doing something else, and the director started talking, and then she started and be okay, well, let's riff off this idea. Let's like, what about this and this? And she ended up becoming the head writer of a game that's now like the most acclaimed game, like the Game Awards has ever nominated. Like little success stories like that throughout the course of Sandfall Studios.
I mean, that rocks.
It's really cool, and it's really heartwarming too. So I do have to agree that some of this stuff is objectively kind of groundbreaking. We do have to give it that.
Definitely.
So what were you going to say though?
I forgot.
Okay. Well, with that
Let's
said,
I was going to say those factors that are outside, it's not in a vacuum. Obviously, those aren't going to factor into the review, but how to get that out of the way?
yes, yeah, we do have to get that out of the way. But we are going to start with positives.
Yes.
I want to start with pros, because I do think that the negatives are going to make it seem like we have a completely different perspective, but I do have quite a few positives that are affecting where I'm sitting right now with my ranking. So with that, we're going to get into the positives. Okay, that little break right there. So if we do want to cut, we can do that. But I want to start with the positives
For the editor.
For the editor. Connor, you go first. I'm going to let you start with your first big positive, because I have my first big positive, and I'll let you start.
Honestly, my first big positive is that I think the premise is really good.
Premise is phenomenal.
Like, yeah, the premise is incredible, and I think it sets itself up to be like not only a good game, but a good like universe to set other things in. Like they kind of really made a larger scale thing, and this feels like one part of a bigger saga.
What is the premise?
To say that the premise of this world is an all-timer, I think would be a fair statement.
Yeah.
Because I do think that they had a really insane. Okay, do you want to say it, or do you want me to for the premise?
The premise,
I can add to it if
without spoiling too much.
I think we can spoil.
You know what?
I don't
Spoil
care.
it for
Turn
me.
it off if you don't want spoilers.
If you don't want spoilers,
Yeah.
why are you here?
It's been months.
Yeah.
Even I finished the game, and I'm slow.
Yeah.
He was really slow, but he still finished
So,
it.
yeah, no excuse. Anyway,
Yeah.
the
You've had
premise is essentially that there's people that live in a world, and it's like France. And
It's not a horror story, by the way.
It's not. Yeah. And every year,
I've lived there. I can say.
yeah, that's right. There's this big sad woman on a statue, but she's not awesome. She every year she gets up once, and she changes the number on the statue, and whoever is that age or younger dies.
Yeah. Or older.
Older.
Yeah,
that age
yeah.
that age or older, they die. No one knows why it's happening, or what's going on, or who put her there, who she is. So
Or what her purpose is, or like what her end goal in doing this is.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So every year they send out an expedition to figure out what's going on, and no one's ever come back.
Yeah, none of the expeditions have ever come out. The expeditions that go out.
Unironically, it's been, I think,
67
years
It's actually been
since they
67
started
years.
it. Yeah.
It's
been that.
And Expedition 67 was also a goated one.
They actually were.
Like, it actually was, which it was 33, I guess, years before this. Anyway, and I think some other important stuff is that like the expeditions that go out are always the year that is going to die next. So like, for instance, Expedition 33 is going out. It's like the 33-year-olds are going out because they're like, hey, we're going to die anyway next year. We might as well see what good we can do for the rest of humanity that's living.
So it's like the millennials rise up.
I feel like it's kind of like the tradition, like now, because I can't imagine them sending like 80-year-olds out.
I think what we're supposed to believe is that when they were like, when it was like times before this, that it was
anyone.
It was just kind of anyone that wanted to go up until it was
always
around
33-year-olds.
Yeah, it's always 30.
So you got to like the 50s, like 40s.
Yeah, 50s or 40s is when they probably started doing like a specific age going out for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But I'm sure it wasn't like an actual policy. It kind of just became that age over time.
Yeah,
it was like, I mean, what else am I going to do?
They sent the 60-year-olds out there and they just started hanging out and like drinking beer and like
Expedition 99.
Yeah.
Just one dude.
They all died before they even made it.
Yeah. So that's kind of.
They sat on the porch and just talked.
Yeah, dude.
That sounds like my kind of expedition.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the base level premise. To go a little bit further into it, once you get out of the mainland where the people are from, and you get out into the world in between the mainland,
it's implied
and the
there's
Painters,
like one city of people left in the world.
Yeah, and that's like the only
It
one
is-
of
it
like
is
humans
implied
humans left.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing these other creatures. You have the bad creatures that are the Necrons, and they're kind of like these kind of alien like species that are kind of a mixture of like sea.
Is that what they're called?
Nevrons.
Nevrons.
That's what it is. Nevrons is close enough.
Who's letting this guy review this?
I know. Yeah. They're kind of like a mixture of like sea creatures and aliens a little bit. They're very inventive style. Always really cool. Then you have the Gestrals, which are typically the good guys. They're not good guys in that they're normally more on your side more often than not than they're on the opposite side.
Well,
and
when they're enemies, they're just like looking for a good time.
Yeah, they're just like they're fighting for the heck of it. They're fighting because it's
just
fun.
for fun.
Yeah,
they're fun guys who like to hang out.
They're based off of paintbrushes.
I like that.
So the Gestrals, all their designs are based off of different kinds of like drawing materials.
They look
usually
like
that's very
paintbrushes.
French.
They look like art mannequins for like form studies.
Yes.
With like a brush in their head.
Yes, that's exactly what they are, and it is really cool. It's a very good design. The like the color palette, the organization of like their outfits and stuff like that, and their sizing and like the position and the weapons they use. Really cool stuff. Very inspired. Once you get kind of further in, though, the creatures kind of take on more of a humanoid look. Like the further to the Paintress you get, the more humanoid things kind of seem, and they're almost kind of like puppets in a way at a certain point.
Okay.
And then it starts to become more of they're less like bright splotchy paint kind of colors, and they become more black and white and a lot more muted and kind of monochrome the further to the Paintress you get, the closer you get. And so that's an important part. And so eventually you kind of find out, I'm going to go ahead and jump to like, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but I'm going to say part of it is that you eventually find out this is a world within a world. You aren't necessarily actual humans. You are paintings of people. Like everything in this world is a painting. You're living inside of a painting.
Yeah.
That's the reveal. That's the big gist of it. And
you're not in the real world.
That's the Expedition 33.
Greatest of all time. And you eventually find out that you are kind of like figments of the imagination of someone that did paint this. And then you eventually also get into the house of the person that painted this, and you get to see the other paintings they've done.
Yeah.
And you get to see it. The world is kind of like the world outside is it's kind of like a variation of like actual current day, well, not current day, like 1800s kind of setting world, late 1800s Paris, and that there is a magic ability to be found within painting. Like it kind of seems from what we could tell that it's a normal world, except there's a supernatural ability within painting. There's also a supernatural ability within writing, and apparently there's this conflict in the outside world between the painters and the writers, and there's like a conflict there, and it ends there. Everything you learn about it ends there, unless you do like a lot of side content. I think you might get a few more answers.
You only really get a glimpse into the real world.
Do you find out any more about the numbers or?
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. a little bit, but even then, it's not well explained enough.
Yeah,
it's kind of
so the all powerful like people in this world that are like one-shotting people and doing all this crazy stuff. Even the Paintress, it's because those are like actual real people.
Yeah, like
That's why
other
they're
real
so
people
powerful.
that came into the painting looking for the soul of the person who originally painted it. So the paintress is kind of a husk of the person who originally painted the painting that you're in, the world that you're in.
No, she's the mom.
Well, so that's what I
Yeah.
meant. That's what I meant. The mother
Yeah.
of yeah.
He was
Okay,
trying to he was
okay.
trying to say that without spoiling it, but then you did.
Oh,
No, we're already spoiling it.
yeah,
Get off the
you're
podcast.
right. You're right. Yeah,
You
you're
don't
right,
want spoilers.
Sorry, keep going.
No, this is gonna be that's gonna be too specific.
Without getting into really specifics, though, I will say though that everything we just said, though, high level, really good.
I'm sorry, I was about to go into a negative.
Really,
We're in the
okay.
specifics.
Okay, we're going to the positives right now. But
Yeah, in
that
case
is
you
that
didn't-
is
So
good
the
stuff.
premise is great. I think also the first act is really good.
The first act is the strongest act of the game, and if
Yes.
you disagree with that, then you haven't finished it.
Yeah,
Dang.
but the first act is the best one. It's I think it's perfectly paced in how it sets up the premise and then kicks you off, and you feel I'm like I want to know what's going on. Like
Yeah.
I want to keep exploring, and like, this is fascinating, and it really ramps up to like a really good climax too.
It does. It does. Like the ending of Act 1 is arguably better than the ending of Act 2 or Act 3, honestly.
I agree.
Because it has more of emotional weight and it kind of just works a little better. My first positive is the music. I think you can't acknowledge this game. You can't talk about this game without talking about how good the music is. I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier with like the context of the guy that did all the music. And we have another episode that someday will come out where we do talk about our favorite soundtracks of all time. For me, Expedition 33 is on my list of top 5 soundtracks of all time. I think it's really good. And despite what I might think of other things about this game, I do think the music is I think it's the strongest part of the game. It just has such a unique personality to itself. It doesn't sound quite like any other game I've ever played. There are other games that have very good soundtracks and have very good like music in them. This is just it's a little unlike anything else I've ever heard. It's a really interesting mixture of operatic vocals mixed with kind of like progressive rock in some ways, and just kind of like I don't know. It's very interesting in the way that it does it. Yeah, I feel like that's the shortest way I can explain it. I don't want to get into too specifics because we talked about this in a different one that you'll hear at some point. But the music is very good, and that's my first main biggest positive when I think about this game.
So
yeah.
this is actually interesting. I actually don't think the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
We don't agree on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad soundtrack at all. It's just that like I as much as I love the story behind it, and I think that it's a perfect like there could not be a more perfect way to get onto the scene of like making soundtracks. If I am just purely judging it, like if I am like, you know, a judge on a stage and I have to like actually put what's in front of me without bias, I think it's okay.
Okay, and that's
Like-
that's fair.
Everything aside, like story aside, I think the soundtrack as I'm playing the game, I'm like, it's okay.
It's a little repetitive when it comes to the battle scenes because I feel like they have a similar theme that plays over and over again in the majority of the battle themes. It's just
Yeah.
like a variation of that same theme in different like compositions, and so and that side of things I can see having that perspective.
Yeah, like
but yeah.
as someone that like I've played in orchestras and I've done all that stuff, I'm like like all of it is good. It's well made, but it definitely doesn't offer enough variation for my taste
Okay.
when it comes to orchestral arrangements.
See, for me, I felt like it had a lot
I
more
didn't-
variation than I was expecting it would. And I think
Yeah.
that's that. It
When
is
I
for
think
like
of
what I
when
was
I think
wanting.
of the game, I think of the opera and I think of the saxophone from the Beaches.
Yeah,
And that's it.
And that's fair. I have a lot more that kind of stuck out to me, but that's like I
Yeah.
can that's fair.
I didn't really like the combo personally of like the rock and the opera.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I
Okay.
I just it didn't I didn't okay that's wrong. I didn't dislike it. It just didn't like land for me.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
a better way of putting it.
That's
It
reasonable.
didn't land for me like I guess the way it does for other people.
Yeah.
And this is a really hot take. I have never seen anyone have the opinion I have.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely
Like-
are like the only one that I've seen that has that opinion.
Yeah.
But
But-
I think it's fine.
Yeah, like I think it's a good soundtrack, but I don't think it's anything like crazy.
I'm gonna have to listen to it with both
Yeah,
of your
You-
takes.
you'll,
Yeah.
you'll have to,
And then I'll be
definitely
like-
listen through some. No, oh my gosh, the amount of songs that are on Spotify.
This is a completely personal opinion.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Like this is completely just a me thing.
Yeah. Listen to Ben, go back and listen to our episode that we recorded talking about soundtracks. Listen to the specific tracks that I mentioned, the specific ones, because those I feel like give the best variety of what it has to
thought
offer.
Lumiere, the song it has a good melody.
I think the melodies are really catchy. Like the melodies I think are what stuck with me a
definitely
lot.
catchy.
Some of it's a little on the nose.
It's a little, I think.
Yeah, I could see that.
I feel really mean, like saying anything about the soundtrack. I actually feel bad, but
It's like bullying a little kid's like drawing.
yeah, like it's good. It's just
I feel like that's a little reductive too. Like from the perspective that I have, but I want to be respectful of like where you're coming from.
It just didn't land for me for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah,
I don't know why.
If it didn't hit for you, then that's like totally understandable.
Right, and it's like, yeah, I know. I am fully willing to admit that I am in the vast minority of people that think that.
Well, I stand on like one of my firm beliefs is the fact that music is the most subjective of all art forms. I think of every art form, music is the single most subjective version of it. And so that's why I'm willing to like concede that like yeah, that's.
I guess I'm just looking for different things when it comes to like orchestral stuff.
Yeah,
I I played percussion in orchestra for like 8 years, so like I guess what I vibe with and what I'm looking for is just a little bit different.
That's understandable.
That's
it. From what I heard from like what I watched of Connor playing it, I also kind of err on like it was good. Like
okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
I like really complicated, weird stuff.
Persona.
Like, and me and Connor do have similar music tastes. So.
I like rhythms that just like break the mold and go off crazy for a second.
See, and there was a few for me in this one that did that, which are why it's that. I can't remember the specific track to be able to reference it, but there were a few at different times that I do feel like did that for me.
Yeah.
What's another pro, Connor?
Oh, sorry, that's on my notes.
Not to interrupt you guys, but can I get anyone a new beer or anything?
Oh,
I'm still working on this one.
You want a grapefruit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, waiter.
Jason?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, do you have your next one?
You go ahead. I just gave
the UI. The UI is absolutely one of the positives for this. I think it's simple enough. It isn't overcomplicated. When it could have been. This is a game that could have easily had wildly overcomplicated UI for the kind of like offering that it has. I think that not only does it look does it feel good to navigate, it also looks really cool. It has like that Art Nouveau kind of like almost Art Deco at times style to it.
It's got that Times New Roman
very consistent with it's like not only is like in the UI, but it's like in the characters' costumes.
Yes,
it's like
in
the architecture.
It's in the combat. It's in the combat menus mid game. The way that the angles and the point of view too, the perspective adjustments where it's like it moves along the Z field, not just the X and Y axis.
Yeah,
like the way that does all the above is really cool mid combat. The way the numbers shoot out when you're doing damage. I'm not always a big fan of seeing numbers when I do damage. I know some people love that. I'm not a big fan of that. I'll turn it off a lot of times when I can.
Covers the whole screen and flashbangs you. Yeah.
But this one, it looked cool because it was in that like the font being more of like a stylistic serif kind of font, but then you kind of have like the texture overlay, then you have the outline, then you have like a background layer that's kind of like fading and it has almost like a misty kind of look to it. Like it's all the layers that are stacked on top of it. Looks so good.
It does.
The moving around the interior of like the menus and stuff, and seeing the way that like the words are, the way they do the colors, the way the icons look and everything. I think it's phenomenal. That's one of my positives.
I agree. Oh, I want to mention before we went too far.
Yeah.
The only reason I mentioned that music part there now is because it's not a negative for me.
Okay.
It's just kind of like it wasn't a glaring positive for me.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's not a negative. Like that's why I didn't mention it.
Dude,
in
like,
negatives.
you're absolutely free to have whatever opinion you want. Like I'm not going to be like the people online that are going to like crucify you for not agreeing with me. Yeah.
I am.
I'm going to be an adult here and be accepting of a different opinion. Yeah,
I'm not.
Well, when it comes to the games, not when it comes to other things.
I'm looking forward to my forced written apology to people online after this comes out.
Yeah, people cancel you and try to get you fired from your job for having a different opinion. Another positive, Miles' Obscur costume. It rocks. We'll talk about costumes later. This to me is the only really good costume in the game. I think that there's a lot to be said that I will say later about costumes. Miles' Obscur costume is far and away
it's
the
really
best,
cool.
the single best costume in the game.
It's really cool.
And it's sad there aren't more that are on its level.
Yeah,
Right, yes.
like it's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Another big pro for me is just how much of the game is voice acted. If we're going to talk about JRPGs and RPGs and all that.
Oh, they do have a tendency to just have like readable text.
A lot of games.
That's what happens when it's a JRPG.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of games have unvoiced things. Maybe you'll have like main lines voice acted, but there'll be a lot of stuff and side content that's not voice acted. I felt like almost every single thing in this game was voice acted.
That's a really good point.
And it was done well.
It was done very well. There wasn't a single bad voice actor. There were some that were better than others, but there wasn't a bad voice performance to be had.
Not that I ever noticed.
Yeah.
No.
And there
They
were
were all
some
good.
great, there were some big names here too, and also some like newcomers, I think.
They came out swinging with some of the voice actors, and that was actually, dude, thank you. That was one of the reasons why when this game first came out, I was hyper skeptical of it in general, was because I was like
the Odyssey.
It's like there's no way you guys have like a list like voice acting cast for it being a studio's first foray into it.
Right.
I still have some opinions on that, but we're gonna keep going positives right now.
Yeah, so that was, I was so glad to have that throughout the entire game. It always like was nice.
That is one of my positives. I'm glad you touched on that. Another one I'll talk about is cinematography and cutscenes. That's one thing that I feel like a lot of games don't invest in. A lot of games feel like, okay, we're going to have like one perspective when someone's talking. We're going to have like just like cut back and forth between two different cameras when people are talking. With this one, not only did you get like really unique angles, you got really cool depth of field when people were talking as they were moving. You got like action shots of people moving around. You got particle effects going on in different points of like in the screen.
Yeah.
It was a lot of really
Like the cinematic cutscenes, you mean?
It was yeah. Well, not only that, but even just like when they were talking too, just felt good. It didn't feel cheap. It felt like they were trying. Like they tried with this stuff, and that positive is a big enough positive to where it outweighs like 5 negatives for me.
Yeah.
Like that's like a really big thing for me, because I feel like that's what kept me playing, and that's what kept me like very engaged in the conversations and the cutscenes. It looks so good, and so the cutscenes and the cinematography, phenomenal, chef's kiss.
Oh yeah. I need to look more into like, I don't know who was on the team for doing that, but like
I know, like
that was a good
if
job.
they got like anybody that had been in that field before, because it felt like a veteran of like an actual veteran cinematographer that was doing this. Felt really good.
Yeah, I feel like they sparingly enough used like the effect of like the screen going black and white, like the grayscale.
Yeah,
It's always like when something crazy is about to happen, and it's like,
no, that was cool stuff they did there.
that was cool. That was really cool. Like the big like, it sounded like a stage light shutting off, like the big thunky like chunk, and like it was black and white. Like that was cool.
very cool.
The sound design too was good, and I know it is. This one has been nominated for sound design. It's going to be a tough battle between this one and another one for sound design. I may have to vote for this one again. As much as I don't want to give this one more wins than I know it's going to get, I may have to give it to this one for sound design.
It was theatrical almost in a way where certain sound cues can trigger an emotion in you just based on like what the game is presented to you. Like
Especially
you hear the
with
cane
certain deaths
like
that
you hear the
happen.
cane thud, and you're like,
Oh my gosh, dude, it was so
You're like-
good.
you're
like,
What are the
yeah,
other
and
sound
my teeth are
design
chattering.
nominations?
I know Battlefield 6. I don't remember what the other ones were besides that.
Battlefield 6 sound design goes
Do you-
crazy.
I know, and it is. And that would also be
Boom.
worthwhile. Do you want to look it up real quick?
I don't, my phone's recording.
Oh, you're
so
right.
I
Yeah,
can't.
never mind.
we'll
I'm
just
in the dark
imagine it-
over
We'll
here.
imagine it in our heads.
We'll imagine it in our heads.
Yeah.
Connor,
No.
you go with your next one while I look it up.
I will just say this about Battlefield 6, though. You can enable all of these different types of VARs for
Really?
the sound design. I have the War Tape sound VAR
what?
set like enabled.
That's
And
insane.
then when the jets are flying overhead,
Dude,
they
I
are
bet it, like, hurts.
screaming.
Yeah.
It is like so
That's
cool.
really cool.
I can't wait for it to go on
So-
sale.
yeah,
Basically.
I
It's
know.
honestly, it's just worth getting.
Yeah.
I would pay full price for it twice.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Okay, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Battlefield 6, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Silent Hill F. I haven't played
Whoa.
Silent Hill F. I don't know enough about that one.
I've seen a little bit
can't
of
give.
it.
I
It
can't
does
give
have
opinion
good
on that
sound
one.
design.
Silent
I
Hill.
can't imagine-
I tried to play Silent.
I will
Hill.
play it.
Yeah.
I will play it eventually.
It just was.
Look forward to it.
Wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. I felt like the combat number one was too easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The combat's so easy. And,
Interesting.
And I just didn't find that interesting. And then the story was just not gripping me. I played for 3 hours.
Okay.
So I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, I got to give this at least a decent shot. But
Yeah.
anyway,
As far as
that's
sound
not
design,
that's not what this
I
review
guess
is
it's
about.
got some good sound design.
But the sound
Yes.
design was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Ghost of Yotei doesn't deserve it for sound design. It was good, but it doesn't do anything better than Ghost of Tsushima
Yeah,
did.
when you take your sword out, it goes shing.
Yeah, like it's cool, but it's not better than Expedition 33, unfortunately. Death Stranding 2, that could be better. I'll be playing that next month. It could be better, but I don't know.
Kojima, what are you doing to get this stuff in here, man?
I know. Well, Jeff Keighley, he's doing Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
All right, my next positive
Little Bill Clinton
is combat, and I feel like we already talked about that a little bit.
That's my next point too.
Dude, yeah. Okay, let's talk about combat. The parry, the dodging, the shooting. That's one we didn't talk about yet. You get a gun. Like certain guys have guns, and if you don't have a gun, you can
Wait.
What?
What?
Dude, like Gustav has a gun at the beginning.
Oh,
dude.
that's right.
Like you
Oh, yeah.
Not only do you have like your actions, but like in between your actions, you can like just point and like shoot and
Yeah,
stuff.
I shot most with Lune, and she just points her finger.
Yeah,
so
she just points her finger.
That's what I always think
She
of.
literally does like the.
Yeah. I forgot that other people have guns, and it's not just pointing fingers.
Mael just like shoot, like she just
sword, yeah.
stabs, and it just stabs like really far.
Dude,
It's
I
just
never
basically, like,
wasted
Is
my
that
precious
allowed in
AP with
France?
Mael.
That's yeah,
No?
true. I didn't either. What?
Do they have guns in France?
No,
No.
They
Not-
got their
not allowed.
Napoleon muskets.
they shouldn't, but they do.
Yeah. The combination of those three things on top of like your turn-based combat, it just felt really cool. Like
it
it made
hooked me.
each encounter a lot fun.
The first time I played it, like the first
gun.
fight, I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
alright.
What are your main takeaways that we haven't already talked about with combat?
I went a little more into the build crafting than you did, and I felt not that much more, to be honest. Once I found a niche and I felt like I was doing respectable damage, I kind of just sat comfortably
That's
there.
kind of what I did too.
But I did see, I was thinking about what other builds I could do. So there's a build you can do where you can get a Picto that's like, as soon as you enter battle, you just die. And it's like, why would I do that? Well, it's because there's other ones later that, one that lets you instantly revive once. And then there's other ones that say, when being revived, you get this buff. And another one that say, when you get revived, you get this buff. So basically, you have like an auto death build where you die and revive with a bunch of buffs immediately at the start of battle.
Yeah.
Like,
So goofy.
I was like, that sounds kind of cool. Like, okay. Like,
Yeah, speedrunning reviving. Yeah, that sounds really fun.
You can build into like break damage. You can build in like crit damage.
There's a lot of damage types, and I do feel like the damage types never felt unfair to me because there's a lot of different what's it called, status effects.
It's
a lot
like
of different
it's
status
like
effects that you have to
Persona in the
manage.
sense that like every enemy's weak to like one
A
or
certain-
two elements.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like you don't know which one it is.
Pokemon.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you could
But
absolutely
it's
make
like
that
but it's
comment.
even less
yeah.
because like you don't know what type they are. So like you don't know how to
Not
counter
until you kind of get
You have
into
to,
it.
yeah,
you have to mess
to
around with it.
kind of go through, and then you
it.
figure it
Yeah,
out.
or
And
you
then,
can
like,
just build into crit.
You could, which I did a lot of.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's interesting because what I do love about the combat with this game, and I have to get it credit for, is the fact that it's a ridiculously high skill ceiling. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you can get by just learning the parry timing, and that's what I did for most of it.
Same.
But if you get really into finding all of like the upgrades and the different like the Pictos that he was talking about, like the
Yes.
little changes, and you get really into like, oh, this pairs with this, but this doesn't pair with this. I want to get rid of this one, but add this one, and then add this one with this character, and this character pair with this one. You can have 3 people on the field at any given time, but you have a backup team, and you can have those people.
Yeah,
like, there's
that's
so many
true.
little things that you can do that the skill ceiling is like it's in heaven. Like it's so high up. It's ridiculously high that there's so much that you can do.
The only
and
character
that makes it really cool.
The only character I even built to do damage was Mael because she's the easiest one to do it for.
I did her, and I built into a lot of fire damage with Lune. Because that was just really fun to do. Like,
Yeah.
like you start with immolation, and then you eventually get like the kind of thing. It's just like really
Yeah.
fun. And then Verso just as my backup because I kind of like his. I didn't like his stuff as much. As I, like
I did the
Gustav's.
Mael hyper carry. Essentially, is what I did.
I like his school grade kind of thing. His like A B C D
Yes.
F kind of like that was
That's
fun to be able to have that.
Devil May Cry has that.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that was easier to understand. I didn't like Monaco. Is that what his name is? Monaco?
Monoko, yeah.
Monoko, whatever. I just, it just didn't, it wasn't fun. Like, I don't know. Having
But
to,
that's
like,
the thing. That's a character where it's like I was afraid of the iceberg of a character that he is.
oh, no, that has another chance to go infinitely deep.
That his kit alone is something that was so intimidating because the concept is that if you kill an enemy with him on the team, you get one of their abilities. So you can go revisit.
You can farm stuff.
You
with
can
him.
revisit
Yeah.
every area in the entire game just to fill out his catalog.
So he could be ridiculous, but
He
it's a
could be
time
insane.
investment.
But
could
I
be.
just can't like. That's a whole thing. That's a campaign right there. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, there's an elephant
and
in the
they
room.
introduced him way too late.
Yes.
for
It's
that
a
to be
new
viable.
game plus thing.
It is
Yes.
because the thing is, like I said, they introduce him like halfway through the game, and so at that point, you already have your stuff that
Yeah,
you're
they
set
do,
with.
yeah.
And by the time they introduce him, you're like, all right, well, I already have my things I'm doing. I don't want to learn a whole new set.
I already
unless
have my
it's New
best
Game
bros.
Plus.
You're gonna have to replace
Yeah.
one of them.
There
Yeah.
is an elephant in the room that I have to address.
Okay.
And it's that I started this game for a little backstory. I started this game well after Nathanael started it.
Yeah.
And
I was close to finishing.
right
it when
after
we
I started it, Silksong came out, and I was like, "Oh man, I want to play Silksong." So I started playing that, and then it's like, "Okay, no, I started Expedition 33. I have to beat it first." So I went back and I played it, and I was like, I was of the mind. I
You
was
hit
like,
a wall.
yeah. I was like, I need to get through this. I don't know how long this game is, but I need to go through it. So, with that being said, I bumped it down to easy difficulty. And it's not because I didn't think I could play it on normal, because I know I could. It's that I wanted to actually finish. I have a problem finishing games. I have a problem.
And I do respect that you did actually finish this game.
He does
That
have a
was
problem.
important.
If I didn't have
personally
With much
attest to
goading,
this.
he finished this game.
Yeah,
if
it was
I
a
didn't
lot.
have this podcast, like I probably wouldn't have finished the game because it's a problem.
Believe me, it
he would not
wasn't me
have.
that convinced him because there's so many things I've tried to convince him to
Yeah.
watch and like play and finish. Yeah,
It's a thing. So podcast. Shout out this. It's a form of accountability.
it is. It is.
So
He has a problem.
I did. So I bumped it down to easy so I could play it. And,
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, I'll bring this up later on the negatives, but part of it is that easy felt too easy.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't say.
It felt no, but like the difference between easy and normal was like I was like, let me just see what it's like.
Was easy the easiest though?
Yes, it's
was.
only easy
Well,
and
that makes
hard.
sense.
I think it comes down to the forgivability when it comes to parry timing and dodge
Yeah.
timing. It's actually a
Well, that-
pretty significant difference.
Not only that, but also the
felt so to me.
The damage reduction is like
Oh yeah,
you take like 90% less
Right.
damage. It feels
Well,
like.
well,
You
well,
sponge
most
a lot of it.
RPGs, their easiest mode is literally just like for people who want to do the story and not even
Right.
the combat.
Yeah.
So it makes
It
perfect
does.
sense.
But what's odd though is that at a certain point in the game, the easy difficulty and
As
how much
random
health I
as-
was losing felt more akin to other RPGs' health systems.
It just
Yeah.
randomly gets harder again. Yeah.
Yeah, like it actually felt like I was like losing health, and it was like okay, like
Yeah.
this is,
I have to lock in
if I was
a little
playing
bit.
Pokemon, this is how much health I would lose when I got hit.
I will say
Like,
I did try the hard mode, and it's like unless you have,
Oh.
unless your controller is like I feel like hard mode can't be done with like a wireless controller. Like I feel like you have to be like so plugged into like the timing
Yeah.
of like pressing something at the exact like
funny.
millisecond.
It's a fighting
which
game.
honestly,
Yeah, it's fighting
It's
games.
fighting game. It's Silksong felt like that too in some ways, where it's like you had to
Yeah.
have like
Like
there
Street
can't
Fighter,
be a
dude.
single bit
Yeah.
of lag on it for you to actually get the parry timing.
It seems
well.
like the easy, normal, hard in this game is almost like a bell curve, where it's
does.
like first percentile, where it's like generationally easy, and then it's like everything like normal is like okay, it has easy stuff, it has normal stuff, and it has hard stuff.
Yeah.
And hard is like 99th percentile, where it's like this is
That-
impossible.
That's a very good description of how
Yeah.
it felt to me. Having tried all three
parabola.
modes, yes, yeah, it did feel like that.
So yeah, I mean, in general though, when I was going into this game, I wanted to play it for the story. That was my intention.
Same, yeah.
So
yeah, I wanted to kind of see what it was all about, but I
he
did
just also
happen
happen to not be good at games.
no,
I did want to give the game when I was playing it like a completely fair shot. Being someone again who doesn't play these kinds of games, I wanted to make sure that when I was playing it like it was meant to be played and like everybody else did. So that's why I punished myself and went through normal when I normally wouldn't have done
don't
that with this
care.
kind of game. I'm gonna keep going through the positives because I want to
Yes.
get to the negatives. Gestrels and Gestral beaches. Some of the gestural beaches were annoying, but I like the idea. Here's a positive.
No, they're cool.
The concept of, so okay, let me back up. Gestrals are the ones we were talking about. They're like the good guys typically, right? Like they're the fun guys.
a
They're
positive.
based-
I like their little voices.
their voices are really funny. Like they have like their voices. The way they speak sounds like what French would sound like to someone who doesn't know what French sounds like.
Something like that.
Like picture that. It sounds like a caricature of French, the French language, but like with kind of like a voice modulator on. It's
It
really
sounds like
silly.
if you asked like an English person what they think French sounds like.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
But the thing is, like, their designs were really good. They're even though the voice, like, they weren't speaking in English, like, there was like the subtitles still. Like, they're super endearing. They're really fun to like interact
they're
with.
quite silly.
And I don't know. I warmed up to them a lot faster.
Every
than I thought
good
I would.
game needs a silly little guy.
Silly little guy, and this had a whole race.
Yeah.
I think every good game does have a silly little guy in some regard.
In
Yes,
some regard,
but
yeah.
it needs to be a good one. Like,
Oh, that's a good point.
It needs to
Not
be
not an annoying Morgana one.
yeah, it needs to be a tough one, and I think the Just
the Just-
Compared to
tough.
some of the other Persona games, Morgana's okay.
It's really
yeah.
If you ever play 4, there's like this giant bear named Teddy.
Oh, I've seen pictures.
Teddy's
Yeah.
the worst.
He is.
He's the
Oh
worst.
man, yeah.
Anyways, so talk about the Just Roll Beaches.
Just Beaches are
Hyman.
basically little challenge.
They're
challenge
very,
sections.
very JRPG inspired.
Yeah, and so the
Extremely.
reason why I have this as a positive is because I feel like so much of the game is either you're fighting or you're not playing. And that's what it came down to, is that, like, I feel like there wasn't enough variety, and I'll get into this in the negatives. I didn't feel like there was enough variety in the gameplay offerings. It's like either I am walking, I'm talking to someone, or I'm fighting, and there's no in between. But the Just Roll Beaches were a nice, like, I do still think the game didn't have enough offerings when it comes to like the variety of things you could do, but the Just Roll Beaches came close. They were the closest the game came.
Even though they rage baited me so hard.
See, except for like the Eternal Tower one that kind of went up. Well, I know it's not that. It's not
Dude,
called
the
that, but,
volleyball
like,
one.
The only up is what
The
I'm saying.
volleyball one can die.
The volleyball one, the hardest difficulty was really annoying.
I didn't even
and
finish. I
think
couldn't finish it, dude. I tried.
I did it through a lot of
Dude,
stress.
I tried.
Playing on easy mode can't beat the volleyball game. I'm
No, that
noticing.
doesn't
I'm
get
noticing a
affected
trend
by it.
here.
It's over for
No,
Brian.
no.
noticing a
I
trend
did
here.
the easy and the medium, and I got decently through the hard difficulty.
Yeah.
And but like that made it
It's
worse.
so hard.
No,
Like, that
I
made it worse,
I
dude.
can personally attest. Like, Connor doesn't get mad. He was like,
I was so
valid
he was like,
Yeah.
he was like, I want to get off. Like,
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
this game sucks.
And that's understandable. I think for me, yeah, it was really hard, but it was still fun that there was,
It was
something
fun.
different to do. I like that there was like a different thing to do.
And I couldn't be mad because after you lose, they do this stupid little dance. I'm like, all right, man.
And the
Like,
music's really funny too.
Yeah.
The music is really silly.
the
in those
music.
I'm like,
is,
all right, well,
the,
I'll dap you
the
up.
music
but
in
I
that
hate
mode
you.
was silly. You're
Yeah.
right.
I really like
It's
the
almost
music
like a
in that
carnival,
mode.
you know?
It
It's
is.
like you're getting screwed over, but you're having fun.
Yeah.
Are we having fun?
Yeah.
The prospect
was,
of winning
I was.
is
Like, you know,
keeping
the
having
big
fun.
gesture with the sack on him. He
Yes.
does that little Uzi
What?
dance where he's like doing this.
Yeah, he literally
Yeah.
does. He literally does that. It's
And
so
I'm just
funny.
like, oh, like, why does he look so silly? Like,
Stop it! You're making me smile. Connor, do you have any more positives?
yeah.
I'm on my last few right now.
I was gonna say I felt like in general the levels that you go in didn't feel too long or short.
I'd agree with that. I think the length of each of the sections, like each of the different individual mini worlds, was actually pretty well paced.
I think it was a good amount. Because
Yeah.
there wasn't a point like I was afraid in this game it would give me one of those moments where I'm like,
I do. When's this end?
it's cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. I'm like, oh my gosh, like when am I gonna like be able to like stop? Like,
Yeah.
no, like it was very well paced and all.
It
that.
was. I think the pacing of like the cutscenes, especially with that you're mentioning,
I'm gonna
was
pause
good.
you because I have a few.
We can go back. You can
Okay.
keep going back and forth. I'll do mine next. So, enemy design and weapon design. I do think that the weapon design was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're like CL specifically. She has like this double-edged scythe that looks really tough.
love a good
It's pretty
scythe.
cool.
Yeah, play the saxophone when you mentioned that name.
How does a double-edged scythe work?
Yeah, realistically, it doesn't. But in the game, it looks cool. I think it's rule of cool.
I can't draw this with my
Up
hands.
this way, down this way, basically.
Okay.
So like
Yep.
this
Don't.
stick, and then this.
It looks like half of something, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, it looks like half of something.
Half of something. But like the enemy design, kind of like what I mentioned earlier. I like how it was an evolving thing. I liked how at the beginning they felt more silly and they felt more kind of like little creature kind of esque. But as it went on, you're like, oh, this is getting more and more human. This is kind of getting more and more like it's less colorful. It's more black and white. It kind of like it fit the theme of the story and it fit like what the story was trying to accomplish. I really like that it did that.
Well, I mean, the first like enemy you see is like something out of a nightmare.
Which
on
one?
the beach when you land, and it's those like
yeah.
amalgamation of like giant hands
Oh yeah.
with like
That's
a
true, that's
cloak
true.
on it, and
Honor
it's
died on the beach.
yeah, dude. That was like I'm like, that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, no,
like okay,
yeah. No, I guess sorry. What I said then I feel like isn't 100%
in a good way.
accurate,
But that was
Yeah, he wasn't wrong. He was telling a
no,
falsehood.
no. You are correct though, because that was a very that actually is a very
it was like a late game boss.
It's a late game,
in
yeah.
an early game area.
Because one of the areas you can go to in like the later acts is like you can go back to the beach that you landed on, and it's still they're like level like 75, like,
which proves why your whole squad got
Yes.
and
they do also
They were
fit-
under leveled, man.
they were
leveled.
very under
Yeah, bot lobbies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
also were like, I forgot.
bot lobbies.
They were.
They fit the design, the design language of the late game enemies
Yes,
too.
yes,
so
they
they did
do.
feel out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're seeing those, hi.
Yeah, they also like hi
Because
because their hands and they're like waving at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
they're like,
This is interesting. I applauded their bold choice to kill Gustav after the first act.
yeah, and I think I would agree
Oh.
with that. I just wish that Verso lived up to Gustav in terms of well written character.
Yeah.
I don't think that he worked as
I
well.
loved the subversion of doing that.
Yeah.
And actually, two of my positives is that two of my favorite decisions they made in the game. One was killing Gustav. The second was in the ending scene when you have to choose which character you want to play as to see the ending. Mm-hmm. Both of those are directly from Nier Automata.
Oh, really?
They do the same thing in Nier Automata, and
2B versus
2B versus 9. No, I'm sorry, A2 versus 9S at the end. You have to pick one.
Oh, that's what you mean.
And it's like they both
That's
have
what you mean.
very different like things that they're fighting for.
Yeah.
And you get the different things. And then also killing 2B, they did that also in Nier. So I was like,
They did do that.
yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. But
I
having
did not like that they killed 2B in Nier.
dude, it was such a ballsy move. Like I love it. I love it.
I will say, with killing a main male protagonist, this game did it leaps and bounds better than Last of Us 2. Like we talked about Last of Us 2 earlier, with it being another one that was done. Mariah played through that all the way through this year, and I got to see, like, I had already seen gameplay of the entire thing. I played a little bit too, just to kind of see what it felt like and everything. But seeing that, like the way they handled Joel's death in Last of Us 2 versus the way they handled Gustav's death here.
I just
like,
spoiled Nier
the-
Automata for someone that didn't play.
Well, that too, yeah.
Oh, well.
Gustav's death is out of those. Gustav's death is the only one that worked to me, and I think that Gustav's death, like it made sense. It was sad in the right ways. It affected the characters in a meaningful way for the story. Like your characters, like the rest of the party was depressed afterwards. Like it felt
Yeah.
like they weren't fighting as well. Almost, it felt like they had more of a reason to go and get to the enemy. I do feel like they played the pronoun game a little bit too much in that part of the game where they said, "Oh, he wants this" or "she wants this."
So
I'm like,
we'll,
no,
we'll
like,
go heavy into that
say a
later.
name.
We're gonna go heavy into that later.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Your next one. Because
Actually,
I'm
you
on
know
the
what?
last three.
I'm looking at my points, and they kind of feed into it. That was kind of pretty much it.
Okay.
Like my other one was the build crafting, and now
Yeah.
we talked about that already.
Particle effects. I think the game has really good
You
particle
snooze, you
effects.
lose, Connor.
Not just in the menus, not just in the overall world stuff, but like during combat too. Particle effects looked great. Like whether it was
Yep.
like fire, ashes, and stuff like
It
that.
did.
Whether it was
It
like
really did.
flowers,
Honestly, yeah, it
did look really
the
did.
flowers with the gommage and stuff like that, like the petals. Like overall, particle effects were like honestly a pretty big standout.
They're pretty great.
Homage.
What?
What is Gomage?
Oh, okay. So Gomage,
fromage.
when he was saying
Le fromage.
Le fromage.
when he was saying earlier about how every year the year changes, like people past a certain age die. The people that do die, that they
They
call that
wither
the
into flower
gomage. That means
petals.
kind of just like disappearing.
Okay.
So basically,
They wither
think of
into waves.
Thanos
That's
snap,
right.
basically, like but like into flower petals.
Yeah, instead of dust, it's
ash.
petals.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so at the beginning of the game, Gustav, who what you were led to believe is the main character, his like off and on again girlfriend basically gets Gomage because she was a year older than him. So she was 34, turns 33, she dies essentially.
Was
And so
Gustav
he's left
valid
without
for
her.
that?
For what?
He's a yearner.
Yeah.
He was a proper yearner. Well, he wasn't enough of a yearner. I think he could have yearned more.
Yeah, he didn't lay down his life after she died. So.
Burnings to
Well, he
yearn.
did. He did.
Well, kind of.
You know
like,
what? All right. You know what?
He didn't lay
is.
his life down for
But he went on the
her
expedition.
beforehand. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. We
He knew he knew his fate when he went on the expedition.
Yeah.
You live and
You
you,
know what?
yearn.
All right.
He live and you yearn. Yeah.
When he decided to go on the Expedition 33.
The greatest expedition ever.
Expedition 6-7.
Yeah,
that was one of the
great
greatest
ones.
expeditions
The
ever.
turn order predictor. That's my next big positive. I want to get through the rest of these.
The what?
Turn order predictor on the top left of the screen when you're in the middle of
that's
combat.
normal.
What?
That's
every
in
every
every
turn-based
turn-based
game
I'm
has
saying
that.
it looked good, and I
Oh,
like
yeah,
that it
looks
was
good.
there, and I think that just like the presentation of it and the fact that it changes orders. I don't know, just like the way it was there, it worked for me. Last couple things.
No, that's interesting
combating-
though, since this is like the first turn-based game you played all the way through. That is interesting to know.
Yeah,
to hear
I
that.
really liked that. Another thing
You'll
is
find that they are on that.
You'll find that they do that. Yeah.
a lot of the vendors you'll find in the world, you can fight them to get better
That-
inventory.
I really did
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
I think that was tough.
You know what
love
game?
that.
You know what game would have been tough for that?
What?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh my gosh, dude! Yeah,
Dude,
absolutely.
You can duel them.
You're
Yeah.
so right, dude. I
No,
love
so-
throwing down with that vendor.
So Ben, the guys, the gestuals we were talking about, the little paintbrush looking guys, you could find them in different parts of the world, and they'd have like a pretty boring stock. But then you have the option to be like, hey, actually, you want to like 1v1 me right now, just to see if you have better inventory.
then he'll give you
and
his
you could do
tough
that,
inventory.
and they'd get like huge, and they'd like fight you and stuff.
They'll
and
get
a lot
their
of times
best
they'd
item.
like rip into you. They like tear you up, and even though they looked at this like tiny little guy at first, but if you beat them, you had to 1v1. You couldn't use your whole
Yeah.
team like normal. You had
One
to just
person.
pick one character to 1v1 them, and you had to like force your best fighter basically. And
Mael.
I thought that was it was always Mael. I thought that looked
Is
really
that like
cool,
getting
though.
the summoning bell bearings in Elden Ring?
No, it's-
thematically?
Yeah, it's
Thematically,
basically
yes.
like you fight the vendor and you either get like their best item or a character cosmetic.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's something like I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy it.
But sometimes the character cosmetic is their best item.
Right? Yeah.
Hardly, because there were no good character cosmetics pretty much in this game.
I
But
still bought them just to see what the suit it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Last thing.
Well, the swimsuit is calling.
That's but
true.
you. I don't think you got that from these guys though. I think the swimsuits were only gotten from Just Shore
There was only
Beaches.
like one or two.
Okay.
There was like very few.
Yeah. Last thing. Mael's father.
I looked them all up. That's why. I know.
Yeah. Mael's father and her family dynamic. So that whole dynamic between her like family situation and then her dynamic between her and her father and stuff, and her figuring that out, like not remembering that and then coming back to that. I'll get into more stuff later. I think that was really well done. I think it was cool. Like the fact that basically the paintress, just since we're doing spoilers anyway, the
That's right.
paintress was married to the main antagonist of the game,
Yes.
Renoir. Her daughter is Mael, who you play as, or like Mael's a version of her daughter that's in the paint, basically. But she died in real life on the outside, or I think she did.
No, she didn't.
What?
She didn't.
Oh, she was just like disfigured. Gustave, no, Verso. Verso is
Yes.
one of the other main male characters.
I have to like lock in to think about this.
Yeah.
like
Jason, what are you doing? Oh, okay.
filter.
Verso is one of the other main characters that he died, right? He died on the
He
outside
did,
world,
yes.
and then his only living version of himself is still in the paint.
Is the
still
painting
in the
version,
painting.
yeah.
So the version of Verso that you interact with and you see in the game is the only living remnant of like the main antagonist and the paintress's their son. That's the only living remnant of their son. So that's why they're
Okay.
kind of fighting, is to be like, well, let's keep one of them is like, let's keep the painting alive so that we always get a way to come back and see our son. It's like the people who do like AI recreations of like their dead family members.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that,
I
honestly.
mean, him now.
Callum Worthy.
Yeah. But the other one is like, no, I want to put our son to rest. I want to be able to kind of like have finality
Okay.
in this. And so that's where the conflict is between the paintress and like the Renoir.
You live and
And
you
then-
yearn.
Yeah, you yearn, yeah. And then there's one other sister who is criminally underdeveloped on the outside world, who has
And
a really
valid.
interesting story and valid, and looks like her style is cool.
And
she comes
valid.
in like a small way in like a side quest in the game, an optional side quest, but her story is fascinating. Her conflict with the rest of the family is fascinating,
we missed
and
it.
then they just don't do like anything with her,
Okay.
which leads us into our negatives.
She was
Okay,
valid, though.
so this is a perfect segue because
This is a very good segue into our negatives.
That whole family dynamic is both a positive and a negative for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's a positive and negative. Okay, it's like gun to your head. Explain that dynamic. What's going on, Ben?
Well-
do you actually know what he just like? Do you follow any of that? Like
Of what I just said.
some of it, yes, but also it's like some of it. I'm just like, what? Like, and I think that also ties into the pronoun game we were talking about before too.
They're like, oh, he did this or she
Yeah.
said that, and
Most-
you're like,
okay,
what?
so-
I
It's-
followed
it's-
some of it, and then I didn't really quite follow the sister part that
Yeah.
was underdeveloped.
and that's fair because
No one else
I
does.
didn't either.
Yeah.
I was playing the game and I didn't either.
Buckle up, guys. This is the
Yeah.
real skill issue podcast.
I know what Connor's about to say, and we were thinking it the whole time.
This is the real skill issue podcast now.
Yeah.
The gloves are off.
Gloves are
Yeah, we're
off.
getting to the negatives now. This is
He's
where we're
sitting
gonna
up.
get onto
He's
hot
sitting
water.
up.
I'm sitting up now. So I think the
Like,
family.
honestly, some of the stuff we're about to say is stuff that we could actually get doxxed for.
We
With
should
how- with how
transition.
these-
We should transition to podiums
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
negatives. Yeah, it's time to get into time to get into the
We're
Connors,
getting
and then we
real
just
authoritarian
transition
with it.
the,
Pros
the
and connors.
podcast to like standing at podiums.
Yeah,
and you're
I think that would
like,
be really funny.
it's time to
Your
preach.
Honor,
Do it, Connor.
I
Drop the
think-
skill issue hammer.
The dynamic of the family was interesting. I don't think it's as groundbreaking as people like say it is. Which
I don't think it's as
vacuum-
groundbreaking as the game thinks it is.
Yeah.
The
Which-
game
okay, there we
thinks
go.
it's like it is high Shakespearean art.
And this just comes down to the fact that at the end of the day, the entire reason that I'm like playing this and I have to be invested is because I'm supposed to care about family drama.
yeah, of one family.
I just don't care enough. Like I
That's fair.
It is interesting, and I think it's really cool the fact that like, and I do like stories that can tie in like a big problem and a personal one. But I think something about it is it does it most of the way, but not all of the way.
Okay, so do you want to get into that?
Because it doesn't explain any of it until Act 3.
Yeah, yeah. And then Act 3 is cheeks, dude.
But I
Yeah.
will say, the first
That's actually my second negative I have is just Act 3, just by itself. Just Act 3.
The first time I went into the manor, I don't know if you were there when I did this.
I do really like the manor.
I generally predicted like what was going to happen.
He did.
Did you
yeah.
actually?
Yes.
Really?
Because
That's
I
kind of crazy though, because I didn't.
Connor has a knack for
Yeah,
this
I was gonna
thing.
say,
I predict
He
a lot of
kind of
stories.
does.
What
He
we've
kinda does.
learned about Connor is he just.
Oh, dude, when we
he's
watched the
just like-
Minecraft movie, he was predicting stuff like minutes. He had like future sight.
For
He was
better or
like,
worse,
yeah.
I usually keep my mouth shut just because I don't want to like.
You want to unintentionally spoil
Yeah,
it?
when I am right, I don't want anyone else to be like in the same like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to give the moment to everyone else, but I usually end up predicting things. But the first time I walked into the manor and I saw like what looked like concept art on the walls and the paintings, I was like, "Oh, these are paintings, and like this has something to do with like reality. Like,
Yeah.
something's."
Dang.
I was like, the fact that this is a manor and people look like they've lived here, but it's abandoned, and it's like all of the art on the wall is stuff that happens in the game. Like, obviously that's not there for no reason, and it's not there for
Yeah.
decoration. Like, this doesn't seem like an Easter egg enough to be like a developer's like tongue in cheek, like, hey, here's some concept art. Like, no, it seemed too prominent to be a
Like
coincidence.
it plays into the game itself.
Yeah, so I was like,
yeah.
this 100% has to do with something in the game, and the fact that everything that I've done and things I haven't done yet are all already here and painted.
I would say that you're like hyper
So.
observant to like the
I guess
the
so.
environments
The
inside of
meta
video
narratives.
games.
I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't even have noticed that.
Yeah.
TBH.
Like at least like in the environment of video games, like I probably would have walked into the place and been like, "Oh, this is cool,"
Yeah.
and then I just would have
Yeah.
kept going.
The wheels,
Yeah,
the wheels were
exactly.
turning from the first time I went in there. So from then until Act 3, probably mid-game Act 3, I was like, so what's going on here? And there was no answer.
Yeah, at a
For
certain point, it stopped giving
35
actual
hours.
answers.
For 35 hours, there was no answer.
Yes,
Yeah.
until you got to about Act 3, there was a lot of TS where they'd be like, "Well, he said this."
Yes.
Oh well,
Th-
he
this is
wouldn't.
our-
He wouldn't want this. Oh well,
Yeah.
she was gonna do this.
my gosh,
And
yeah.
then me and Connor are playing the game, and we're like,
What are they talking about?
I don't understand.
Even within the context of the family, it doesn't work because
You wouldn't say that.
There's it would work if there was just one woman or one man that they were
Yeah.
talking about, where the he or the she would obviously apply to just one of them. But in this case, there's for women, there's the mother, there's the older sister, and there's Mael. For the
Yes.
men, there's Renoir, the dad, and there's
Verso.
Verso, the son. In those contexts, it doesn't make sense to just say a single pronoun like that. You have to give an overall like, hey, well, there's like give a name. Give a name for part of this. There's no way that they're all on such the same wavelength that they're going to automatically know exactly who you're talking about at every single given point.
It just felt frustrating because like one of the, I think I could be remembering this wrong, but I think what happens is that like right after Renoir kills Gustave,
Yeah.
he looks at Verso and just says, "Oh, you still haven't told them, have you?" And that's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
All right. End of Act 1. End of Act 2.
What do you mean?
Then Verso joins the group.
Yes.
They're all mad. Why didn't you save Gustave? Why did you stand
You know
there
what he
and
says?
let him?
TS.
That's it.
No, seriously, he sighs. He doesn't give them an answer, and they let him stay with them and sleep next
They're
to
like,
them.
all right.
And then they
They
let
are
him
so
they let him
unrealistically
romance
forgiving.
them.
Yeah, they're like, actually,
Yeah.
let's smash, and it's so, dude, like. TS is the best way to describe it, dude. It really is.
It
so
was
TS.
kinda TS.
Like, because it's like they're so unrealistically forgiving of him. Yes, you're out in the wild. I will see people say that kind of perspective where they're like, "Oh, but you're
But
like
from the
they don't have
get-go,
anybody
he's
else that can."
very suspicious.
He's suspicious from the beginning, and he doesn't explain himself
Because he's immortal. He's like, I'm immortal, and also I know this guy.
In a game,
He's so poorly explained and poorly written compared to Gustav, especially.
in a game that's about like broken dynamics and a loss of trust.
And grief.
There's not much building of trust.
No,
There's
there's a lot
nowhere
of
near
there's a
enough.
lot of blind acceptance and belief
Yes.
in Verso, which
Yes.
is completely contradictory to the point regarding the family.
Which I know
Yeah.
you could argue that, like, you know, it's desperate and there's not many people, but it does get to a point of like,
gets to a point.
yeah. It does
Well,
get
I
to
think
a-
that's the best way to describe it. Is that really that's what it is? It's like I can accept it to a certain extent, but to a point, you got to start making changes. You got to start like adding little things. You got me at the beginning. You got me in Act 1. Sure, I'll buy that they're desperate and they're getting to this. Act 2, all right, I want some answers. Act 3, nothing yet. Really?
Yeah.
You're not even gonna start
Keep
giving
in
me answers?
mind, by the time you're in Act 3, you're about like what 35 hours in.
Yeah.
Which keep in mind,
Yeah.
like all of the main story of Indiana was like 25.
Yeah, I spent longer because I like 100% of it.
So, from a meta narrative, from like a structural perspective on the narrative, first of all, there was a big plateau at the beginning of Act 2.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Just
dude.
following this insanely climactic moment that was like
About the highest high that it
it
had.
changes the entire vibe of the game, the entire dynamic. It's followed by a plateau.
Yeah, the whole game is completely different after Act 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's
so-
they lost me too for a while.
And
too.
I also could tell this. I could tell this immediately once they started talking very vaguely, that what they were trying to do was build up a lot of intrigue and a lot of questions and a lot of like just kind of like things to keep you curious and to keep you going, so that at the end they would drop like a bombshell like,
Right.
of knowledge, and everything would make sense.
I was expecting like some actual like they're gonna sit you down and give you like a narrative like step by step.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what we needed. There's so much that was unexplained or underexplained
Right.
that I'm like, guys, in order for me to like actually care about any kind of significant ending, you're gonna have to kind of walk me through it. You're gonna have to
Right.
hold my hand a
So,
little bit.
Some games can do that, and I think like I could tell what they were going for. What was that the giant lore drop at the end? I don't think, and this is admittedly because I played Signalis this year, which is an example of a game that did this very well. Once I played this afterwards, I just felt like I could immediately tell what they were doing, and it wasn't landing as well.
So it raises a lot of questions.
Part of
and-
it has to do with the length.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it wants to build up the intrigue to this big bombshell, but it holds on to the questions for so long
Yeah.
that they, instead of becoming an asset, become a detriment.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
now,
that's how it
instead of
felt.
being like, I am working towards this goal, now it's like, I don't even know what I'm working towards anymore.
No, I was getting more and more questions that the first ones that like started it, like I was kind of forgetting what they were.
Well,
Yes.
then,
And
to
the
your
time
point,
factor
too,
is huge.
Yeah, and then to your point, Jason, it started to become less of I'm looking forward to this answer and more I'm worried you're not going to answer this question in Act
Yeah.
2, and then in Act 3 I'm like, all right, I know at this point you're not going to answer this.
Like,
what are you
yeah.
going to do to make up for the fact that I can tell that you're not going to
Yeah.
answer this? That's what I got to.
Or it's, I'm really looking forward to this answer. Like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? Or and then it becomes like,
It's been so long I don't care anymore.
if I don't get this
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
in the next
exactly.
hour, I'm going to crash out.
I'm officially like
So-
I'm not bought in anymore.
right,
If you're not going to give this
I
to
felt
me.
like Signalis, it worked because the entire game was less than 20 hours, and that's even,
True.
And that's if you actually like look at everything.
Yeah.
Like realistically, the game was between like 10 and 15 hours, but you know I read every single piece of paper there was, and it was like 20 hours.
Yeah.
But it still did it well because it was drip feeding you enough information, and not just questions. Like every time it gave you questions, it would still give you a little information.
Yeah.
And so by the end, when you have kind of like puzzle pieces scattered, the last lore drop was putting it all together and seeing the big picture. Like,
Yeah.
that's finally what happened, and I didn't feel like okay.
After like 45
That
hours.
doesn't
Yes.
okay. Literally from a gameplay perspective, after you beat the final boss, that does not happen because there are side quests that happen after that answer other questions.
It's like actually there's an Act 4 that you guys never played.
Honestly, if there was, I would be curious to see what it was because I feel like it left enough like to the imagination in not a way that was satisfactory to me, where I would prefer for there to be one more act where they actually went into the context of the outside world and why like everything that happened because of the context of like the geopolitical climate of the outside world.
There were some self-imposed plot holes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They
That were-
they did it to themselves.
That were like gate kept around leveled enemies.
And I yes, and to that point, I would say a lot of the game's biggest issues are around the like the plot and around the writing and around the writing self gatekeeping things like that, which I think were really dumb.
I think because of the gatekeeping and because of the choices that it made, and I'm not sure if you guys are ready to talk about this yet, but I think it pigeonholed itself into a unsatisfying ending at best.
I would partially agree with that. I think so. I started with Mael's ending, and
Same.
Yes,
me too.
and just because I
He
wanted to
did
play
too.
as Mael
Me too.
more than I wanted to play as Verso.
I knew that I was gonna kick Verso's butt, and I was
Yeah,
like,
dude,
the other way's
yeah.
gonna be hard.
Yeah,
like,
because
I
Mael's like
I
his
was
best,
not confident
yeah.
that Verso was going to
Dude,
be
I
Mael.
one shot Verso.
Yeah, which
It
was
was
pretty
easier
funny.
than fighting
It was
Red
supposed to be
War.
like a very, dramatic moment.
And
It's
then
like,
I
it's like
found out
two bros.
I found
and
out later that through playing Verso that they actually talked during the fight.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because literally he died immediately, which was pretty funny.
Like just skip dialogue unintentionally.
But Nathaniel, what were you
Bro
saying?
used his ultimate move out the gate.
Yeah, literally.
I will
If
say
anime was realistic.
Yeah. Having seen Verso's ending and Mael's ending, I think that Mael's ending does give a more satisfactory conclusion because it is more somber. I mean, her ending is like, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to like stay in this world, even though my family in the outside world doesn't want me to, and I'm going to basically. Well, I mean, yeah, we're talking spoilers anyway,
You
right?
know, no, I'm saying, you know what else did the exact, you know
I know exactly what did the exact same thing.
What are you gonna say?
Persona 5 Royal.
Oh.
It did the
Oh.
exact
You know what
same
else
thing.
did the exact same thing?
What?
Wuthering Waves for Lova.
Yeah, which they all base it off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For Lova's, her whole quest, the one I was glazing in another episode,
Yeah.
was the exact same premise. She has a world that she wants to stay in, and she knows it's wrong, but she's going to do it anyways because it keeps the people that she grew up with alive. Same premise.
So it's exactly
It's the same thing.
But Wuthering
Yeah,
Waves,
I mean,
Wuthering Waves came after. But wait, no, they're probably made around the same
Right.
time.
Yeah,
though.
they're
Well,
the same thing. Same
okay.
time.
I
So-
mean, it's all like the Persona thing too.
Yeah.
Studio
Where
leaks,
They weren't
man.
they were not the first to do it. Neither
Right.
game was the first to do
could've
it.
Where
been.
it's like, do you want to stay in a reality where all your homies are there,
Yeah.
but you know it's not real?
Yeah.
Or do you want to fight
truth.
for the truth?
Yeah.
Even if your homies aren't there
And it sucks.
and it sucks, you
Yeah.
still have to get up every day and work for it. But it's
But
it's
it is.
real.
But it is real.
real.
And it is true.
and that's
Yeah.
basically which ending would you pick in this game? Which I, honestly, like after seeing Persona 5 do it and then seeing Wuthering Waves do it and then seeing this game do it, I'm getting a little tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you can only do it so many times.
It's like-
it gets to a point.
I've seen it done a little bit too many times.
Dude,
I'm like, all right.
can I get to some of my
Well,
negatives real
yes.
quick?
to my point, it's like once I see Mael do it, I'm like, you know what, man? Go for it. Do it.
At
Like,
this point, dude,
cool.
yeah, just do it. I don't care anymore.
Well, I mean,
right?
you're 50 hours in. It's like just end it.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what?
That's what I felt with Silk Song when I
Yeah,
finished
like
that. I was
Gustav
like, I
came
just
back
want it
and I'm
done,
like,
man.
you know what? Maybe this ain't so bad.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This ain't so bad.
It was
Yeah.
cute.
It was cute in like a sinister way.
Yeah.
Right, and I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Okay, I'm gonna get through a few negatives.
Yes.
Just like I'm gonna spitfire some of these real
Okay.
quick. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is millennial bait the game.
It is.
That's my thesis. It is millennial bait at the chorus, at the most core of its
Yeah.
of what it is. It one of my negatives.
I'm afraid that
is-
humor doesn't land for me.
One of my negatives is millennial head tilt. Do you guys know in Marvel movies and in other movies when someone says something and they're like, and like they're like, kind of thing.
Okay, I'm glad there's a word for that because whenever
It's a millennial head tilt. That's what it is.
Whenever I see like a mysterious villain character and they do that, I want to like throw up in my mouth. Like,
I'm like, dude, it's been done to death. The first time that it ever happened,
Like, okay, cornball.
The first time, holy cornball. The first time I saw it and that it worked was like Girahim from Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. That came out in like what, 2011, 2009, 2011, something like that. And it worked back then because it wasn't a thing yet. No one was really doing that like ad nauseum. This game does it ad nauseum. Every time Gustav speaks, I like Gustav as a character, but he like every time someone says something slightly quirky, so he's like kind of like off to the side.
Yet he does it so many times.
He does it so
He
much,
did do it a lot.
dude.
Like thinking back, he did it a lot.
He does it.
Yeah.
He is the most guilty out of everybody in this game. Like that is like that is so millennial core. He is the most guilty out of all of them.
Well,
and I even liked him, but
yeah.
even it gets to a point.
Yeah.
Building
it gets
on,
to a point.
I think building on your thesis of this game being a millennial bait, what kind of central plot is more millennial bait than family drama?
Family drama and
That's
also,
kind of facts. though.
family drama and also us saving the world with our friends.
Yes.
Found family saving the world.
saving you from your family drama. Yes,
this is the greatest
Yes.
expedition of all time.
and
The
it's like,
greatest expedition.
and it's like I'm sorry, like you know that Family Guy clip where he's like, I did not care for the Godfather, and he's like, and they're like getting all mad at him. They're like, why? It's the perfect movie. He's like, it insists upon itself.
This game insists upon itself.
Unironically, and I said that to Connor when we finished the game. It insists upon
I
itself.
have not played the
does.
game
It
this
truly
year,
does.
with the exception of Dragon Age Veilguard, that insists upon itself so incessantly. This
Yeah.
game is
Okay.
obsessed with itself.
I think there's no better example than at the mid to late part of Act 3, Monoko says, "It's time for the greatest expedition of all time."
Did he actually say that?
He said that, and I was like, "Oh, brother."
this guy stinks. Oh my god,
I
dude.
think when me and Connor got to Act 3 and we were like getting to the end, we were kind of just like,
I think I snapped
We-
optical
we were-
nerve
we
with
were
how
like-
much my eyes rolled back to my back of my head. dude.
like at that point, I think we had officially reached disillusionment, where we were kind of just like, okay,
This was like I had been playing the game for like 5 hours at this point too, like straight. And I was like,
just like trying to get. We're like, oh,
I was like, "Yo."
Oh my god, dude!
He
Speaking of millennials, one of my other points is they were not moving like 30 somethings who had only ever fought and trained with other
Okay.
humans.
So
they
The
were
learning. Okay, here, let me finish this. The
Yes.
learning curve was out of nowhere, and they all picked up on the kind of fighting that they needed.
Yeah, why were
and
they
that
just so
accomplished.
goated for no reason?
It wasn't believable how fast they picked up on fighting creatures they had never seen before.
that's one of my points too. Is
Yeah.
that I don't know. Maybe I just didn't do the level 80 side quest.
Mael, exactly. Like Mael in particular.
Mael was on demon
She's
time,
supposed to be this like weak girl who wasn't supposed to go on the expedition at all, and then she's like
She's
easily
a
the most.
minor.
She's
Why is
controlling
she moving
everything.
like that, dude?
So yeah, so
she actually is.
It's
That's
like
a
if
big plot
Futaba
point,
from
too.
Persona was the strongest one. It's like
yeah.
you're
dude.
like 14. You're like not supposed to be here.
No,
But you're like killing gods. Like
so
brother. Yeah.
one of
Sasuke.
that is also
Yeah.
one of my negatives is that yeah, maybe I just didn't do the level 80 side quest where it explains it, but I don't think it's ever explained what the power system is and why it works and what it is.
yeah, what is it?
Dude, this game
Why-
wishes it was Hunter x Hunter with a well explained
like,
like
Yeah, like because like
combat
when you
system,
start the
power
game
scaling.
and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I can see the paintress. I can see that. I can see Gustav. Press R1 to grapple, and I was like,
That's such a
Yo.
good point, though. Where did the grapple come from?
I was like, yo, you just
okay,
put his arm out and flung himself with magic. I was
they
like,
were-
what?
There was like a light explanation for grappling at a certain point. I do
Okay.
because they did explain it in like the prologue when you were
Which-
warping around the city. But I will say though, it
Okay.
does feel like okay, this game feels moderately realistic, and all of a sudden you're using like strands of light to do this.
Yeah.
But I feel like
yeah,
that,
Lune's
that's
like
splitting
shooting
hairs.
fire out of her hands. It's like what's going on?
Right. So I was hoping.
Yeah.
I was hoping like, and of course you can just put it.
You just mean like explaining
You
the
can
magic
chalk
system.
it up to like, oh, it's all in a painting. So, but like you don't know that until the
That's
end.
true. Like at the beginning, you're led to believe it's like a pseudo Earth kind of
Right,
thing. Like
so
it's
I'm just
almost
like-
real.
So I just didn't really know. I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna accept that this is a like semi-fantasy setting and that this is just how things are.
Well, furthermore,
Yeah.
it's very steampunky. It's very industrial.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just
yeah.
given the type of game it is, I was hoping that they would give some lore reason as to why like some of this stuff is.
Even if it's like a found lore
totally
thing.
just like a journal, like that'd be great.
I opened every journal I came across and I scoured all the areas I was in.
Yeah.
I never found anything that gave that.
Yeah, and all the journals were of like different expeditions, which those were cool actually.
Those were cool. Those
Actually,
were cool world
I should
building.
say that was a positive.
That's retroactively adding that as a positive is the world building
Journals were
around
cool.
the previous expeditions. That was really
especially Expedition 60. That was the one of like Giga
The
Chads.
Jack guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Who
Giga
made
Chad
it like all the way
expedition.
to the end.
It was called there's Expedition 60, and what they did was
I thought it was like I'm not saying this to be funny. I thought it was actually Expedition 69.
no
that was that one.
67 was the first one to get to the barrier.
Oh,
Or no,
okay.
no,
That's actually a big deal.
the Axons. It was Axons.
That's it.
They
That's
went to
it.
the Axons first.
Yeah.
60 got all the way to the barrier, pierced through it,
Yes, they
went
did.
to the Paintress, found out that it was Renoir, went all the way back, and they sent one guy to swim back to Lumiere. And mid swim, they were all naked, by the way. They said that it was the purest form of human strength. And so mid swim, he got gommaged. And that was the end.
like that's
almost
the thing, it's
made
like
it.
they
They
didn't
almost
die.
made it.
They lived so long that
Yes.
they were out there for a whole year. Like
Yes.
that's so tough.
So
Those
that was
guys
tough.
rocked.
The journals are cool. But what I wanted more of was other things. Like I just refuse to accept that even though they are sending expeditions out and that is their main source of fishing for information,
Yeah.
that they are going to take everything else at face value and not write about it in ways that we can read in the game.
Yeah.
Like other things that are happening, like what are the flower petals? What are like somebody studied that? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I was hoping for a little more. I mean, maybe that's hoping for too much.
I
but
don't need everything explained, but I
Yeah.
need a little more. Than
maybe
what we
maybe I'm
got.
spoiled and I wanted more, but I would have liked.
I needed a little more than what we got.
Well, I mean, this game was literally just this thing is killing people, and that's sad. Go
Yeah.
figure out why.
that said, killing is wrong. Go fix this.
That was from what my understanding was that was basically it, and then you were on the island.
Dude, if you guys,
Or the continent, whatever
if
you
you
wanna
guys want nuance in a game, play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. that is a game that will give you nuance in a gameplay and in
Basic
story.
knowledge.
You want a role playing game that is a role playing game. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah.
Okay, my next negative, and this seems trite compared to the other stuff we talked about. I have to mention it doesn't have a photo mode.
Yeah.
I can't not
You
say
knew it was
that.
coming.
If you knew
Yeah.
it was coming in a game that was designed as beautifully as this, because
Positive.
that's
It looks beautiful.
Quick positive, by the way. It's beautiful. It's an incredible looking game, and each of the areas are so distinct from one another, and they're incredibly like realized, and like I said, the particle effects, the style, the difference between one section and the next, the difference of enemies from one section to the next.
Well, Nathaniel.
It's so good. What?
It's not. Well, no, please.
I was just gonna say no photo mode, or at least not even a bare bones like way to turn off the hub.
Okay, let me say now, Nathaniel. It's not even not a photo mode.
It also doesn't let you take photos on the PlayStation controller. The second you press the capture button to
It
try to take a picture,
pauses the game.
It brings up the menu, which
Covers the
blurs
screen.
the background.
Even if you
slightly
just
blurs the
hold
background.
down the photo button to take a quick screenshot, not even opening any menu or anything, it will pause the
Let's
game.
test that out. Here, can I see it? I want to test that out real
Well, you
quick
can
just
hold
to
the button
see.
to take a quick screenshot.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Let me show you. Like, watch. If I want to do let me turn the camera around. I'll do this.
We're testing it in
I'll
real
do, like-
time.
yeah, I'm holding this down. Okay, to be fair, that worked.
Oh,
To
dang
be
it.
fair, that worked.
all right.
I
Well-
got to be honest. That one did work.
Well,
however,
I didn't know that was a thing.
well, hey, now Connor learned something.
Yeah.
That still isn't a dedicated photo mode. I'm just asking for a place, even if the camera can't move freely. I'm just asking for something that orbits around the character's point of gravity, like center of gravity, that allows you to take a picture of like you and the things around you. That's all I'm asking for. It's so easy. Expedition 33 wishes it could be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 at launch, they realized they couldn't do a full-fledged photo mode with with different brightness, with different contrast, with different like mixtures of like different things in there.
But they listened so quickly.
The thing is, but it still launched with a bare
Yes.
bones version, which at least let you move move the camera from one point to the next and
Placeholder.
just placeholder just to take a picture in current lighting. You couldn't change the lighting, but you could take a picture in current lighting and move it a little bit at launch.
It just pause the game, give you free camera.
And
that is par for the course. You have to at least have that in a game.
to give further credence to our understanding that the more games evolve, the less the less rationale there is to even not have anything.
Yeah. And to be fair, we gave flack to
Yes.
Indiana Jones for this too. Indiana
yes.
Jones is guilty of not having this.
A game that just came out that's completely free that has one of the best photo modes I've ever seen in any game
Yeah.
is Where Winds Meet.
Where winds meet,
Yeah.
You can-
where
you
the
can, like-
photo mode exists.
dude. It's absurd. There is a simple photo mode and a pro photo mode. You can actually switch between the two of them. You can change not only the weather and the lighting, but you can change where the lighting is coming from on your character.
Yeah.
Like,
At this point,
What?
there is no excuse to not have
No
one. There's no
excuse.
excuse to not even have a basic one. If you don't have that at launch, then you're not ready to launch your
which
game.
we'll talk about Where Winds Meet on another episode.
Next one. Let me go ahead and go my next couple ones. The open world. This game did not need an open world.
No.
I think this game did not justify having an open
the
world.
overworld.
The overworld versus just being a linear game. I think this game would have worked significantly better if it was a straightforward path. It already felt like a straightforward path anyway.
I have a
The
perfect segue after you're finished.
The overworld felt unnecessary, and it felt like they were padding the runtime by just adding a little place to run between point A and point B. I hated how the map worked as well. There weren't enough suitable icons and warp points. I think if you're gonna have an open world, if you're gonna have an open map, you need to be able to quickly just one click warp to one place or to the next.
Is that not a
That's
critique on the UI?
No,
That's a good point.
no, it's a mechanic. It's not UI.
Okay, sure. I could keep that mechanic. Going off just to kind of finish this thought. SKA. I think it was just a poorly thought out
looks
mechanic.
bad.
I
It
think
looks bad.
Well, not only does he look bad, I like his voice.
I like
think
him.
the voice is cool. I don't love the look of it.
He's a big goober.
He is a big goober, but I think that the way he moves just felt unnatural, and I don't think it fit with the
That's
theme.
what we're talking about.
No, it looked so jank, but I liked it actually.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But
it was so jank.
Like, speaking of the open world and speaking of traversal in the open world, let me just kind of finish this thought. Is I do think that with SKA, he's a creature that can help get you from point A to point B in like the open world
He's
of
a
the land.
thing.
He'll break obstacles in the world. Eventually, you can get him to swim. Eventually, you can get him to fly around
And
from
he
area
can
to
dive
area.
underwater too. Actually, if you do his quest.
Not being able to fly in the open world when so much of it is stuff that's like you have to get to when you can fly until Act 3 is so horrible. It felt bad. It doesn't make sense with the concept of the story. You saw him fly earlier.
Yes, you did see him fly all the
You
time.
saw him fly like regularly
In
For him-
cutscenes. In cutscenes.
In cutscenes. And then for him to be like, oh, but I can't really carry you guys until Act 3. Bad.
I have to get stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
bad.
I don't know.
It's just not good.
I don't know if this was for better or worse, but the only things you can access through flying are endgame stuff that you're probably not leveled for anyways.
That's bad game design.
It's bad game design.
Bad level
Also,
design, excuse me.
with those other places in the open world that were level locked, it just said danger, can't go here. Bad. You need to tell me why I can't go there. You need to tell me by what level it requires.
literally just says- it
For
doesn't
it to
matter-
just say danger. Bad.
It doesn't matter
No,
if
it
you're
doesn't
5
work.
levels under or 50 levels under. It will just say danger.
No, but here's the thing.
So Connor would have to go in there and figure it out the hard way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is that I went into like an area that was like so once you get to Act 3, you can do like character quests. And one of the areas said danger, and I was like, oh gosh, like every time I go into one of those,
Oh,
I just
gosh.
get like one shot. I went in there, no problem. I beat
Yeah.
the whole thing, no problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a challenge. I was like, okay.
So it's well, but you were on the easy mode too.
yeah,
so
but
there's
like
that.
no, but I could go into the area right next to it.
Some would
and get one
say.
shot, and I'd do like 300,000 damage, and it would move like a fraction, like the smallest hair of their health bar. There's no differentiation between that or it thinks I'm underleveled, but I actually just beat the whole thing in one try.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah.
Like,
So there's no way for you to tell as the user that's going to happen, or if it's not going to happen. Not only that, but also with the open world, there's so many individual little spots up in the air, across the water, and little islands, little things that are out in the open that you have no way of telling how close you are to the appropriate level. When I got to the end of the game, I was around level 50 for most of my characters, and that's not skipping out on stuff. I was not skimping out. I wasn't like just beelining through stuff. I was giving a good amount of time. I wasn't. Bless you. I
I
wasn't.
skipped a lot of fights.
What?
To be honest.
really?
running around.
I just ran around. I just juked a lot. I juked a
Yeah.
lot of fights.
I wasn't someone that was like avoiding stuff. Like I was actually doing everything that was put in front of me, and I was going out of
fodder
my way
enemies,
to make sure I wasn't farming. That's the only difference is I never farmed because I never felt like I need to, but I just did exactly how I should have. If you are doing that, if you are taking that process of like actually going through the proper methods and you are taking your time and you're doing exactly
You should be
what
rewarded.
you should be rewarded by the time you get to the end of the game
By being able
you
to do the content.
You should be able to do the content. You shouldn't have to farm more to do more of the content. I was flying around SK, every section said danger, and I was just playing through normally. Absurdly horrible game design. I should be able to do the rest of the content just because I got to the end of the game, especially if I beat the final boss. If I beat the final boss and I came back and did stuff, unnecessarily roadblocking me so bad. I like that alone is like points
And that's the
off.
thing. Like, it's like, well, you should just. It's gonna be hard. You should go in anyways. Okay, well then give me a number. Like,
Then
let me
give
know.
me a number. Let
Give
me
me
know.
a number, and at that point, it's like the level system is almost arbitrary in a
Because
way.
there's like 20 like areas to go in. Like I'm not gonna try all those, man.
I'm not going to try all of them. I'm not going to trial and error my way through every area that says danger.
Yes, and RPGs are notoriously good with level systems. I feel like, as far as like keeping in track,
Normally.
where it's like, oh, this enemy is this level, therefore it'll have these attributes,
Indicators.
Yeah.
But in this game, it's like, God only knows.
It felt so undercooked, and it felt like such a just ridiculous oversight. I'm like, just make this content unavailable, put it in a later patch, and have it be like, hey, great, you finished the game. Now you have more.
Yeah.
You have more content. I don't know. Excuse me. It really frustrates me the fact that I actually wanted to do a lot of this game. A lot of the end game content. I was actually looking forward to doing a lot of this stuff. But the fact that I opened up Act 3 after finishing Act 2, I got in the world, every single area said danger. I'm like, dude,
Still?
you just don't want me
Like-
to. Yeah, like so many. There's a few I was able to do.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of them said danger. I'm like, do you just not like? I played through the game normally. I just didn't farm anything. Do you just not want me to experience this game? Are you
Right.
going to like strong arm me, pull my arm behind my back, strong arm me into like farming just so I can play more of the game? What is this? What kind of game design is that?
And I will say this. I think for a lot of old school RPGs,
Yeah.
or like RPGs that give themselves way to farming, that's normal for a lot of RPGs. But I think this game is
not a-
trying to be.
It's not a farmable game.
It's trying to be more than an RPG in that way, as far as like it almost disincentivizes farming with how narrative based it is.
yeah. I would agree with that.
So to that effect, making you farm when the whole game didn't, it comes
Yeah.
out of nowhere and
Yeah.
it disincentivizes you to do anything past finishing the final boss.
So bad.
Also,
It's so
because
bad.
there's a lack of like clarity on enemy level and stuff like that, I actually
You don't even know what you have to do.
no. I if I wanted to farm, I'm just gonna Google it. I'm not gonna actually intuitively
Yeah.
know where to go to do it.
That ties into
effectively.
quest tracking.
Because I need efficiency. If I'm doing this, I need to efficiently farm for stuff like to like grind levels. But I don't know.
Bad quest tracking, no mini map.
You know what a
Both
simple
of those tie in together.
UI.
Okay, maybe I do have to take points off the UI. Honestly, like this is getting closer to a lower number than I was originally planning. But no, because like there is no mini map in the game. Some people are like, oh well, it just means that you got to explore more. Stop.
There's no mini map at all?
There's no mini map.
No.
There's no mini map. This game needs a mini map, dude. If you're just wandering around, like, and the thing is,
It can be
the map
extremely simple, like a Mario Kart style, where it's like just the outline of the hallway.
yes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Yes,
like,
that's all you need.
You need
You
You know
bare
what game
bone
did that
stuff.
perfectly?
Or have a
Like
toggle.
every RPG ever.
yeah.
or have a toggle for on and off a mini map if you want to get into accessibility.
I got
stuff.
used to it eventually, but every time I took breaks playing this game. Like I would take like
Yeah.
a week or two off from playing it. Every time I go back, I was like, oh yeah, there's not a map. Like
Yeah,
no.
so bad. And then like I said, quest tracking, just horrible quest tracking. It just doesn't make sense. Like it's there to a certain degree, but it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, X marks the spot.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's why I'm like, I'm not going to go more into that. I'm gonna let Connor take a turn before I get into more of mine.
So this is the segue. Is that for me? I didn't have a personal problem with the existence of the overworld because I've seen it done in some other games. I haven't really played the other games that it's been in, but I know I'm familiar enough where like I was like, oh yeah, this is a thing that exists. I can understand why it's a negative though, but
Yeah.
a negative for me that was actually on the positive for you was actually
yes.
some of the cutscenes.
Really,
I felt like a lot of the cutscenes were just two characters standing in an open field looking at each other.
No, there were some.
That was every single camp cutscene.
Oh, really? Well, okay, that's different. The camp cutscenes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a negative for me.
Yes.
I think the camp is a negative.
Okay.
So that's different. The camp cutscenes are a huge negative for me.
That's
They
what
are
it is.
literally just two assets, like
Yeah. In the actual missions,
holding their shoulders while they're talking. Like,
But it made it that much more jarring. Yeah, it made
dumb.
it so
Yeah.
jarring because the
they're
cutscenes.
staying 15 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
they're supposed to be. They're about to have sex as well. It's like
they're standing like me to the wall over there.
And they're just looking. They're just standing, just like
like
hands by their side. Like
Yeah.
Like okay.
what are you doing after this?
Good tidings.
Oh, you want to have sex?
Yeah. Like okay.
Yeah. It's gosh, it's so dumb.
But
dude.
it is jarring because the cutscenes in the levels are extremely animated and extremely lively and realistic. Like,
Yeah.
it's great. But then you go to camp and it's like, all right, we're winding down, and it's like camera fades in. They're standing somewhere in the camp. Everyone else has disappeared, and they don't move. Like it's so static.
Yes. Okay. So like you'll enter the camp and.
Yes, this too.
What do you think you're gonna be doing at a campsite in the middle of the night? Maybe laying down, maybe like reading a book, maybe
Yeah.
trying to get some rest. They're all just at the camera,
Standing.
waiting for you. Like it's almost like this game was made in like 1999. It's like they're
like,
just
feels
waiting
so
for you to
old.
walk up to them. Like,
Yes.
how are you doing? It's like no, that looks
they're
so
all
bad.
they're standing side by side with their arms at their sides.
Yeah, they're all standing evenly
Like, in a
spaced
row.
apart around
They're
the
exhausted.
campfire.
They're traveling on this whole continent.
They
Sometimes
should
they
be
have
laying
bloodstains on them
down.
still. Like
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's another con I had.
What?
Like constantly, every time you go around and talk to these characters, they're splattered, drenched in
they're
blood.
yucky.
Yeah, it's like, guys, first of all,
Why?
like Nevrons don't like. I guess maybe they have blood, but I'm like, it feels weird that it's like, wouldn't you clean yourself
Yes.
up?
Well,
Even
it
the
ruined the
slightest
immersion
bit?
of some of the cutscenes
Yes,
for me.
Yes,
Because you'll be in a cutscene and it's supposed to be this tender moment. Well, guess what? Mael is
Filthy.
drenched in blood.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
what is going on?
or like
Speaking of cutscene immersions being ruined,
Oh, this is like this is a funny negative. This is a funny
this is
negative.
a hilarious negative.
it's almost a positive with how funny it is.
Honestly, I don't know what causes it,
It was very funny.
but for some reason, okay, so something I had a little theme going on, and everyone in my team was ready to jump in the pool.
You
Yeah.
and every other player.
Yeah, everyone was ready to jump in the pool. Like it was just
Verso
funny.
included.
I
not
enjoy
just the girl.
personally, and this I will not docket points for my habit of putting characters in the dumbest outfits I can find. Because I did the same thing in Final Fantasy 15, and I thought
That's
it
fair.
added so much to the. I loved it.
That game, yeah.
But I had everyone just in their swim trunks, having like just traumatic moments, and I was like, yeah. But something happened, and I don't know what bug it was, but at the end of the game, when the final boss like makes this insanely like cinematic entry,
He's
and it's-
monologuing.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
monologuing, and it's like the cutscene. He's wearing a swimsuit.
Yes, I don't know
I
why
was
it
like,
happened.
hello.
That's
Like,
not even something that you can apply
guys,
as
Because
swimsuit to.
well, it was so funny because like it didn't show his face for a while, but it was like showing little bits and pieces of like what he was wearing, and I was like, wait a
I
second.
was like, no. I was like, there's no way.
I was like, wait a second. Like it looks
Wait.
like he's wearing the swimsuit.
That's
and then
the
it
stripes.
finally pans out, and we're like, oh.
no.
We're like, what is going on?
he has a baguette in his back too, or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
And
Renoir.
it's
actually a
Renoir.
feature.
And you're like,
Yeah.
fighting him. You're fighting him in it too, weren't you?
Yeah, I think in the combat he was
You got
also
the
wearing the
final
swimsuit.
boss with. Oh my
was
gosh,
so
dude!
funny.
That's got to be like an Easter egg. They're like,
I
if your
don't-
full team is swimsuited up, we'll make all the bosses.
that would
Maybe
be interesting.
Maybe
That would be interesting if that was the case.
if that's an Easter
Yeah.
egg, that is on the top of my positives.
If that's an Easter egg, yes.
That is at the top of my positives. And this is hardly a negative. It's only a negative in terms of like if it's a bug, then like people might be not
Probably gotta
use
fix
feature.
that.
I loved
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
it was something that was
That's so funny,
hilarious.
man.
Yes.
I love that.
All that to say though, cutscenes did have a tendency to be a bit immersion breaking. And you did mention as a pro the Gustav death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, and like
You thought it was a negative?
I was okay with it.
I thought it was static. I
Oh,
thought
really?
I thought people got over it way too fast.
Into Act 2 a little bit, yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
goes
there
along
is a
with what we
point.
were saying about
The
people
verso, the very
forgetting
fast verso acceptance.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like it's like
pretty privilege.
Yeah, I guess so. They're like, he's hotter than Gustav. It's fine.
I feel like Mael, her character arc,
She never really.
her character arc processes Gustav's death properly. But I feel like everyone else, it seems
Ciel
like
and Lune were just like, who?
after a minute, like it's like they could not have cared less. Like
Yes.
They're just trying to crack.
And maybe to an extent,
Yeah.
I saw with Lune somewhat is like her kind of just compartmentalizing it all as far
Yeah.
as like we just have to keep going. But
and
in
with Ciel,
some
maybe
ways-
it's like she's already lost other people, so
yes,
whatever.
and in some ways it wasn't
But-
represented well enough to the point where it was almost like she just didn't care, and it was like, all
but
right.
still,
Yeah.
man, still.
And I don't know. I think I personally, I mean, Nier Automata is an example. I personally am not a fan of killing off the main character,
Right.
especially like if you're gonna do it, you better do it in a really, really good way.
And it better make sense from why they got killed off. Last of Us 2.
Also, in what
Yeah.
reason did they
Made
have to
sense in
kill?
Nier.
Nier, it did.
It made sense.
Yeah, in Last of Us 2, they tried to explain it away, and it felt like they were like coming up with these
for another
excuses
episode.
as they were writing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick.
Okay.
I want to say one other thing real quick. Open world mini areas from fixed camera angles for just one unlockable. That may not make
Yeah.
sense unless you've seen it, but basically in this game, there's a lot of little areas that you go into where, like I just said, just like I said, fixed camera angle, you can run around in the area. Sometimes there will be something you can pick up. Sometimes there won't be. Useless.
Yeah.
Useless to have that in the game.
It's always
Have it in the open world.
most of the time it's like music, like you can play, but the only place you can play it is camp. And camp is already so lifeless that I don't care.
I don't want to spend more time at camp, dude.
I
Camp
wish
sucks.
it's
I-
so
You
uninteresting.
sound like me when
Camp
I was
isn't
like 10.
fun, yeah. Camp isn't fun. There's nothing to do here.
Camp sucks.
Do you want to know a good
I
camp
wish-
system? Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
If you
Yes.
aren't doing camp
Baldur's Gate
like
had a great
if you
camp
aren't
system.
doing camp like Baldur's Gate 3, don't do it.
I wish
at all.
I wish you could have played your own music when you're in the overworld.
Yes. Yeah.
And honestly,
yeah, Fallout 4
every
style.
every
Yes.
judgment I had
Like
of
in the overworld. Like the
Expedition
TF
33's
Yeah.
camp, I was actively comparing it to Baldur's Gate 3's camp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because one did it well and one didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was
Especially
like,
when you have that standard or that example to
yes,
like
of like
live up
2
to.
years, 2 years old at
Exactly.
this
You
point.
know, like
Yeah.
So like they
'cause, yeah, when that was out, they would have been actively
It had
working on
been
this
out.
game.
yeah.
had
Yeah.
been
Like,
out.
You know?
I bet almost all of them played that.
You're right.
Yes.
So it's like
That-
to see that, and then to go ahead and still
No.
make
So
I
something.
think that's poor
They,
game
they didn't play
direction.
it because there wasn't any good turn-based RPG since Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, you're right.
True.
So like I don't understand like
Not Baldur's
like
Gate.
break this down for me. So you see this lively camp where everyone's interacting together. There's
Yeah.
multiple things you can do. It's open. People are doing things in the camp, and then you go back to your game and you see like them
Yeah.
standing there at the campfire.
yeah,
like,
like-
Splattered in blood, not doing anything
like,
about it.
yeah,
It's
and-
fine with being like coated and yeah.
and you're like,
yeah.
yeah,
Like
this
yeah,
is
in
fine.
Baldur's Gate, you have people kind of like in their areas.
they're kind of just standing there, but at
But-
least they're at their own tents.
no, but they're doing things. They
They're
do
doing something.
They are
at their
doing
tent.
something, and
Yeah,
that's
like
that's
Lae'zel
enough.
is kind of like sharpening her stuff. Shadowheart
Yeah.
is just kind of like stand like Gale has a book or
Gale's
something like
studying,
that. Yeah. Shadowheart has nothing on. Yeah.
Yeah, Minthara's mogging.
Okay,
in her
another
hag
negative.
style.
Costumes. There is only one good costume in this
The
game.
swimsuit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you know.
I'm just kidding.
No, like I said
I'm just
earlier,
kidding.
it's that one from Mael. It's the obscure one. The rest of them are so mid. You can make like personal preference
Dude.
things, but you cannot say objectively that any of the other costumes are great. You like none of the other ones are like, oh, this is cool. You're like,
Yeah.
it's
It's because
works.
that one comes out of absolutely nowhere and mogs everything else so hard.
Yeah.
It also
Yeah.
comes after a random boss fight. You just get it randomly
Yeah.
after killing that sword guy.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's dumb. Like, dude, give me more things that are like thematically fitting.
It was
you
so
get
cool.
weapons. You get weapons that are thematically fitting the area. When you're in like this really coral area, this like underwater coral looking area, you get like a new weapon and a new like scythe or like new little things like this that pair with that almost look a little bit thematic. Like they're underwater or
You
they're
do
like
get a
gonna-
sword that matches that outfit, but it's through doing her side quest at that tower.
Well, what I mean is I want more outfits that match the areas. I don't want outfits that are just you in normal clothing.
Yeah.
Normally, I'm someone that if
understand
I'm role playing in a game, like if I'm playing in Fallout, if I'm playing in Skyrim, if I'm playing in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I try to have an outfit that, like at least one variable outfit that's like comfortable for walking around town. There's no town that you're walking around in this game. You're walking around the world where you are always in danger. I want my armor to have armor, right?
Yeah.
Like if the only activity in the game is fighting, I don't want normal play
They don't
clothes.
have like any fighting clothes.
There's no fighting clothes. Some of them, the only fighting clothes they have is their original outfit.
Yes,
and even then,
exactly.
if your coolest, most practical outfit
Is a button-up shirt.
is your button-up shirt, or is your default outfit, then your costume department phoned it in. I don't think the costume department tried hard enough. I think it's so mid.
In Lumiere.
Yeah, Lumiere. Yeah,
It's almost like they forgot it was a combat game.
right.
Like, it looks cool, but like,
It looks.
They all look fine.
It looks nice, but like, looks nice and it makes sense if you're in a town.
yeah.
But if you're a warrior, which like all of these
you
people
have
are.
a gestural town ish.
I will also say that for just so like if you're a person who does not care about costumes or whatever, all of us have played Destiny 2 and we were very into like
Fashion endgame.
We're all
yeah.
fashion oriented.
very fashion oriented
Yeah.
in terms of that game. You know?
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
not only that too, but it's also like I like to think of what I'm wearing being practical.
Yeah.
and also it's third person. If it's a third person game, it matters.
Yeah.
it
It does.
matters.
It does.
What you're wearing matters so much, especially the back of the outfit. People do not give enough attention to the fact that like if you're playing a third person game, the back of your outfit is arguably more important than the front of it.
Than the front, yes.
Genshin knows
If
this.
you're wearing a button-up
Hoyo knows
shirt,
this.
yeah, Hoyo, I will say they get back of the outfits better. But if you are designing around this stuff and you have a button-up shirt, it's just a flat cloth.
Yeah.
in
On the back, it is exactly.
Flat.
You don't even
white
get to see the
paint.
buttons or the cool like work, like the cool like texture and so.
like the collar or
it
anything.
drives
Yeah,
me
no,
nuts
it's
how bad
not-
the
it's not
outfits
great.
are.
This is a critique on menswear as a whole.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Connor, you go next, and I want to get into some specifics. I'm just going to read through after this
Let me pull it back up.
because I don't have much to add except for what I've already written down for these.
I think one of the last things I have is basically that I thought the character development wasn't that great for a lot of the characters.
Yo, I agree.
I
agree.
don't think it happened, and a lot of them.
Mile gets it. Mile is the only one that sees it.
She's. I would argue that she's the only one that gets it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Gustav had it before he died. He had something. He had a little bit.
I was really interested in finding out more about how Lune was going to go through the expedition, because she was the character that was like always curious, always asking questions, never really believing things at face value, and like the more like scientific minded of like the bunch.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to seeing how that pans out, what that goes into, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
Nothing changed.
Nothing happens. And I
She
did
was
it.
still cynical and skeptic at the very end.
Right, and I did everyone's like side quest in Act 3, and nothing came of it. Like her side quest, by the way, was that you go find where her parents' old expedition, where they ended up.
Yeah.
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 So you go there and you just fight the monster that killed them, and then you leave.
And you don't really get much from
No,
her.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You
So-
expect some kind of monologue about like how this
Like-
makes her feel now.
Yeah,
like-
and there's a whole thing about like how like you meet her and she's like playing guitar, and she talks about that with Verso, like how like
With her parents and
yeah,
stuff.
like how she
Yeah.
like played music.
yeah.
That it's like the only reason it existed was so that she has something in common with Verso.
Yeah, because Versa plays the piano and
Like,
then she plays a guitar.
Is
I'm
that
like,
it?
All right.
Like, okay. She doesn't play it in camp. Like nothing else happens.
Yeah, Camp
Nothing
Rock.
happens.
She was
in
literally
camp,
just
to be
trying to
fair.
like get like huzz and like that's it. Like
Well, to be fair, that is about the only thing that happens at camp.
Well, that's also one of the only reasons people learn to play guitar, too.
Yeah.
In general.
and that's apparently that's the same
from
thing as her.
experience. Yeah.
That's the same thing as her.
And I will say, CL. I don't know as much about CL's character arc, if any, that happened in this game. But from my
a lot.
understanding, you know, she was married and had a kid.
And I think
And
the
they
kid
both
died.
died.
Yeah, and they both died. So she's very much in grief.
It was like years ago,
yes.
though.
Yeah, right. So she's very
recent
much
enough.
Still,
Still recent enough.
She's grieving like
husband
hard,
and a kid.
right, and hard-hearted about it,
Yeah.
right? But my problem is it doesn't seem like she seemed to move on from it at all.
She both didn't and did care in the wrong measure.
I think, and here's the thing. I think as far as the character stories go, she's probably one of the most developed ones, though.
Yeah.
And that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
I think she might be the most developed one.
Because basically the whole thing was like, okay, like I'm gonna move on. Like my whole thing was like, okay, she's moving on, and like she gets with Verso for a little bit, and then the whole thing was like, hey, oh my gosh, like if my husband can come back, like it's almost like all my
Take a hike.
all my
Verso, yeah.
healing is like gone now just because of the prospect of things going back to how they used to be, which like is the whole
Right.
point of like that's the opposite of healing from grief.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is very interesting. I will say I like the prospect of CL and Lune's friendship, and I think they
Yeah.
didn't flesh that out
There
as
was
much
like
as they
one
should have.
cutscene where
Not
they
at all.
talked.
They didn't
And it
do
was
anything
really good.
together.
That I know the cutscene you're talking about was really
Yes.
good. I don't think there was enough. I think there should have been so much more.
More Yuri.
Oh, and that's a huge point. The characters really don't do anything together outside of these like awkward like you're standing like 10 feet away from me
Yeah.
conversations where they're just like, hey, I know it's hard.
Yeah. Well, millennial head tilt. Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
that's like there's no substance.
a lot of what they talk, a lot of the way they talk feels like millennial counseling, millennial therapy. That's what it feels like, and I say this in the most derogatory
Is
way
this game
possible.
millennial daycare?
What?
Is this game millennial daycare?
It's just that's just how French people talk to each other.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Okay, I want to go through another couple things real quick, and these are just like I'm going to read these out. These may be personal, but they still matter. The first one is Ciel and Lune's lack of reaction to existing in a painting. Right, we talked about how when they found like their existing
Yep.
painting, when they find that out,
Yep.
they almost could not care.
Yeah.
There's a lack of development unless you romance them.
Hey,
with
your
both
whole
of these
world
characters.
your whole world isn't real.
Yeah.
Oh,
Couple sub
we
points.
still have to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Couple sub points under this. This is after I said lack of development unless you romance them, and then unless you do that, you don't get nearly enough personal development with them from the main story, and that's a big point. Is from the main story.
Yes.
Because I feel like you shouldn't have to dig to get anything out of these
do.
people.
So
what you
yeah,
do, you have to dig.
It's
You have
worth
to-
saying
Yeah.
that the only way, like the way you get these side quest developments thing I'm talking about is due to a major flaw in pacing. And
Oh, the pacing is so horrible, dude. in
Yeah,
this
I think we should
game.
touch on this.
Oh my gosh.
And that is-
I did have one more thing to go off of this though.
okay, because this ties. We'll come back to this though, because this ties into that.
Okay, you say that immediately after. I just want to read this other point I have. With that, with Lune and Ciel, at the beginning of Act 3, I felt no reason to keep on with Lune or Ciel because if I tried to put myself in their shoes, there was no reason to want to keep fighting if we live in a world that could be erased at any given moment by the hands of malevolent gods who couldn't care less about our existence or even be cared or even considered us as autonomous beings. And that's the thing. It's like these malevolent gods that I'm talking about, the people who made this painting, don't care about them.
Your
No.
paint
And so
stroke.
what's the point to keep going if that and if you
Even
give
the
me
one
a
that does
reason-
care only cares about Verso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and if there is a reason to keep going, I need you to tell me why you have these feelings that you do to keep going or to persist. We didn't get any of that from either Lune or Ciel. I think that was so underdeveloped that I was like, I just don't care to talk to either of you. I know I could continue this romance and stuff like that or try to get your relationship points up, but you haven't given me any reason to think that you're like autonomous in any way. It just okay. Sorry, what were you going to say then?
So the major flaw in pacing comes in the beginning of Act 3, where you face off, you find Renoir and Lumiere, and you realize that the two of you have different plans. And so it's like a conflict breaks out, and you realize you're not going to make it. So you flee and you go back, but you know that and it says goal, like your mission, find and defeat Renoir.
So you're thinking
So
one set
I have
goal.
to go now.
I have to go now.
No. Do you want to do the character side quests? Do them first. Renoir is going to sit there and wait for you.
And that's a lot of people's biggest complaint with Fallout 4 is Fallout 4 is a story. You're like, okay, your main goal, find your son. Then there's a ton of other
Actually,
stuff
I'm
that
gonna do
shows
some
up.
stuff.
It's actually, I'm going to start. No, I think that those were all well paced up because you had to do one thing to get to this thing to get to this thing. In this game, it does not do that. You're like, you don't have anything.
Renoir's sitting there twiddling his thumbs, waiting for you to
he's
fight him.
waiting for you to show up.
Meanwhile, I'm climbing a big old tower, to do a
Meanwhile,
side
I'm
quest.
playing
Like,
volleyball with like little guys on the beach.
yeah,
with silly like French jazz.
I'm on the beach
fusion
with my friends.
Yes.
Like,
playing in the background. Yeah, dude, oh gosh, it's so
You're
bad.
sitting in your tower waiting
Like,
for me. I'm
okay.
playing volleyball on
So,
the beach with my friends.
yeah,
We're not the
Literally,
same.
Yeah, yeah.
at this point, you have two options. You can either prolong the final conflict, which doesn't really make much sense narratively because you just had this entire cinematic thing like we have to go get him.
Yeah.
So no, let's do a side quest first. Or you can beeline it to Renoir, fight him, finish the game,
Have nothing
and
left to do.
retcon, go back and do the side quests.
Yeah, yeah, heavy on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you can, after you beat the game, you can actually just go back into the world, and it's like
yeah.
just kind of like you can just wrap up whenever you just didn't finish before.
But the game already ended.
But it already ended, so it's like
So what's the point?
none
Outside-
of these options are satisfying to me.
Like narratively, it doesn't work. Within the game, you're like, okay, well, I want to level them up and
Those
get them to certain points.
those
but
character side quests should 1,000,000% should have been in Act 2.
Yes.
I have a solution. I have a solution to this. Let me read out what I wrote down because I think so. This plays into it. At the very end, you getting to Renoir, getting to the final boss. It's kind of you're kind of staging a new assault on Lumiere, like the city where he's based.
Final
out of.
big fight.
So but that it's kind of like it's helmed by Mael. It's helmed by him, like that assault. So I have,
Yeah.
and let me read through the whole list. Mael's assault on Lumiere felt rushed, just top level, high level stuff. First point within that, it would have made so much more sense to have the player go through the remaining unexplored areas to find and resurrect a lot of these dead expeditioners, so we felt more of a feeling of accomplishment
that.
and ownership over the army. They did it in a cutscene.
Yes.
They didn't. You
You're
didn't have to
right.
do it yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's
it
the
was
thing.
so short.
So I
and,
thought
like,
it was going to be a gameplay thing, and that's Act 3.
Exactly.
Yes, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought so too.
Act 3 is going to be getting the army together. Nope, cutscene. You know what they also didn't do? They didn't resurrect Gustav.
Yes, I thought they were going to resurrect.
You're
Dude,
so right.
I 100%
Dude,
thought they were going to resurrect
that
Gustav.
actually,
Slam dunk. No.
That made me
and then
so
they,
mad.
they didn't do it, and I was like,
Okay,
everyone else-
he's like
so-
the
But
most
him.
important dead
Let me-
expeditioner of all.
Okay, don't resurrect Gustav. Don't resurrect Luna's parents. Don't resurrect Ciel's husband. Everyone else, though.
It's Ciel's baby too.
Everyone else is here.
Yeah, that
Ben,
was so confusing.
when you staged the final assault on Lumiere, the city where Renoir
They
is
died for a
based out
reason,
of,
'cause they suck.
you in order to be able to do that because he has a lot of those Nevrons and a lot of those creatures around. The point of the story is that Mael goes through. She resurrects all the previous expeditioners
And
that
it's a
went
big-
out from like 34 before
greatest
that
expedition
basically.
of all
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
So you're 33. You have like 34 back to 100, like a long time ago. She goes and resurrects all of them. It all happens in a cutscene. All of it.
It's a
happens in
montage.
cutscene. It's a montage. It's
a
all
montage.
a montage. That would have been so that's what we're saying is that would have been the easiest.
Dude, they would have been cooking if that was actual
easiest
gameplay.
slam dunk gameplay for Act 3. Act 3, what you gotta do is you gotta go from this area that you haven't explored to this area, find the dead expeditioners here, resurrect them, fight a little mini
There's
boss
a place
here,
called like the
resurrect
Fallen Battle,
them.
like the Battleground.
And there's nothing that has to do with this where you do it yourself. It makes so little sense. It feels like I would have gladly paid another 10 hours if I felt like what I was doing was worth anything. Open up those ridiculously overleveled areas and have that be you fighting to try to get more people. Have the fight at the end be a variable of difficulty depending on how many expeditioners you resurrected. Yeah, you can maybe it's like Breath of the Wild where you can go in right now with like horrible equipment if you want to and it's just going to be really hard, or you spend the time to go
grind to
through,
make it
you
easier,
grind,
yeah.
you get the dead expeditioners, and then you get a different cutscene if you get all of them, and then it makes the final like part better.
They did a similar
Games
thing
have
for one of
done
the
that in the
axons.
past.
They did a similar thing for one of the axons.
Yeah.
The mask one. If you kill all the other masks.
yeah.
Yeah, it changes the outcome
You
of
have
the
like
final
4
fight.
different masks or whatever that you can go to get, and then
So-
yeah. It would have been so easy. Let me finish my other points of this. And so kind of what I said is what I was talking about just now,
finished
where
my points, so
I
you're
felt
good.
I felt no reason to go through the overleveled areas before going straight to the final area.
yeah, and narratively there isn't.
Yeah, there isn't. And I say if the reason for going to these side areas was to build up the strength of your force of dead expeditioners, it would genuinely make me forget about all the nitpicks I had with this game. Because now if you're done with your negatives, oh boy, I have even more nitpicks I'm going to get into real
Okay.
quick. Verso and Gustav look too similar.
Yeah.
I am
that
a
intentional?
I am a white man looking at other like white men. It's not like people saying, "Oh, well, this race looks like they all look the same," because I'm not familiar with seeing them as much. I'm not as familiar with like that. No, I am a white guy critiquing white guys. They look too similar.
Yeah.
You can't give me two white men, same height, about long like ish hair,
Especially in third
beards.
person when you can change the hairstyle.
Third person where you can change the hairstyle to match the previous guy, and with like pretty similar relatively similar outfits, both with swords and stuff like that too, and both with like low gravelly voices, and expect me to realize what the to notice a difference when also their personalities are all but the same as well too. They're so similar.
It almost felt, and like I don't know if they were going for
Yeah.
this. I think they were to some extent, but Verso literally just replaced Gustav.
Yeah.
And that's why
He did.
That's why I didn't like it to the same extent of like, oh, like in Nier, like there is no replacement for 2B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The story changes fundamentally. Like,
Yes, but
Yeah.
in this game, it's like, okay, Gustav, take him out.
We're back.
Verso, put him in.
Yeah, copy and paste. The other two things I said under that is one, I wish they were more blatantly different from one another in terms of looks and sound. So what I'm thinking is like have one of them be blonde and have
Make
no facial
Verso
hair.
black.
Honestly, like or have one like there's no black people in the game.
Honestly, for France,
That's true.
for France,
There's no
France,
black people in France.
No,
There's so-
France historically,
very-
France historically
there's a lot.
has had a lot of
like
had a lot of
Algerians,
African.
you have
Yes.
northern
Yeah.
like northern
It would
African.
have honestly made perfect sense for one of them to be black,
been-
especially because they have they have Lune.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you're already gonna get a little bit diverse, you might as well.
You could say CL is a little bit more like Latin
Yes.
inspired.
One of the expeditioners that I want to point this out that died immediately on the beach. There was one. He died immediately.
There was one. Anyway, so my last thing I was going to say on that is if they're going to commit to having Verso just be a replacement visually for Gustav as soon as he died, I wish they'd just let you have Gustav's outfits. I feel like
They
that would've
didn't
been
do
easy. You get like one, I think. But like, just get like if you're just gonna have to be the same character anyway.
No,
I like
don't.
Gustav's outfits better.
You don't get his
Just-
outfits.
Yeah, I was like, just give me him back. Gustav's outfits were better. Like I didn't care about Verso's outfits. Next negative, Verso as a character in general, I didn't care about him at all. I never once cared
I
about
didn't care about him
anything he
either.
was doing. I wanted to like him. I like Ben Starr as a voice actor. I think
too.
he's really good. I like him in real life. I like the other characters he's played. Verso was a blank slate,
well, that's-
willing to be filled.
Well, that's the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Dude, screw that little sailor boy.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? You build up Gustav for half of the game,
Yeah.
and then you take him out and you replace him
With
a
a
character
worse
they're,
version.
They're intentionally being ambiguous about.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about this new main character
Yeah.
you're playing as for the next like 20 hours.
He also
Yeah.
doesn't have narratively the same like
He has no Riz.
He didn't
like compared to Gustav. He actually has no Riz compared to
He has
Gustav.
no connection to any other characters
Verso
either.
doesn't have the same like life on the line gusto to figure out what's going on and keep going. Like
No,
doesn't-
he's just nonchalant.
he doesn't have
The
that.
only leadership capabilities he has is just because he's been around for forever.
Yes.
Like he's been around for forever, and that's but like Gustav feels like he has leadership abilities that were earned over time because of like the trust that's been put in him, and because he's been put in a situation where he has to be a leader. Let me keep going with these because we're over time right now. I feel like the next thing, lack of bestiary to keep track of creatures' weaknesses and strengths.
That's not in the game.
Dude,
No.
guys, follow The Witcher. It's so easy. 10 years ago. That was 10
Any
years ago.
RPG.
Persona does that too.
Yeah, but I'm just using like another example of
Persona
like a
has
third person,
no,
like
but
real
Persona
life
has
looking-
the same like elemental weakness thing, and
Yeah.
Where
if,
it's like, yes.
if you fight an enemy like enough times, you actually like it'll
You'll
say
learn
right
all their
here
weaknesses.
they are weak to this.
Yes,
Yeah.
you'll analyze the enemy. Boom, resistant to this, null to this, weak to this, strong to this. Every enemy.
And if you're gonna have it, just make it obvious. Because even if it isn't here, I never saw it. I never felt like it was like necessary.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be an exterior menu. It can be like it is in the game,
Yeah.
where you're in combat.
Right below their health
Yeah.
bar,
you,
it'll say
you,
it.
you click on the enemy, and then boom, it gives you some information about the enemy, and it tells you their weaknesses right
Yeah.
there. All you have to do.
That's-
it's
Not
so
every,
easy,
but
dude.
so many RPGs have that.
So, okay, loadouts. If we're talking about menus and we're talking about characters, the game has no loadouts. So you have a whole system of different
like quick swapping loadouts.
quick swapping
Yeah.
between things.
For build
I
crafting games,
felt-
it's essential, I think.
I felt disencouraged. I felt almost like they were telling me not to try different loadout or try different abilities, because the thing is, you get so many little like upgrades and upgrade like the pictos or what they call them, the little upgrade things you can change, and you have different weapons that you can use, and you have different like different people in your party and your main party versus your secondary one, I felt actively disencouraged to try out different things because there wasn't a loadout system. Like if I have to go through so much work to like get these things ready for battle and everything, I want to be able to just like quick save that and then try out something different next time. But because of that, I'm like, I found something that works. Why would I do anything different if it's going to cost me another hour of gameplay time to test out things and figure out what works and put all these into place and risk losing what does work and forgetting about what does work?
Yeah, and even for games that I really like you know a game that didn't do that also had build crafting?
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima didn't do that. And that was one of the few cons I had with that game.
Ghost Yote added it, and it was really, I will say, Ghost Yote adding that,
that's
it was
great.
really good in that one.
That's great on them. And I think
They learned.
this game needed that. Especially because, guess what? Ghost of Tsushima, you're one guy. This game, you're like 6.
Yeah.
So also, I
agree.
don't know if you like remember that this is a thing, but every time you switch weapons, you're actually changing what stats your damage scales off of.
Yeah, that's true. So then you're like, that means that you need to go back into your character and like,
You have to
or
you
go
have
back
to
to
use a limited consumable resource to respec your stats.
Boo.
So luckily, I had Mael just use the best weapon in the game the
Yeah.
whole time, and I just like hard built her into that.
Yeah, dude.
So
I'll say that's not that different from like Elden Ring though.
yeah, but
can see what you
also
mean.
it's like there's at 3 characters at a time always active.
Right, but then again, it's like Elden Ring is one person. This game you have 6.
And
Yeah.
so and the resource is shared amongst everyone. So
Okay.
say I got a new weapon for CL, but it scales with
Something that I'm not leveled
defense,
into.
right, but I'm spec'd into speed.
Yeah.
Well, now I do no damage, but this weapon has better passives, so I need to use one of my like resources on her. But God forbid, Mael gets a better sword or Verso gets a better weapon because like I got a limited number of these, and it's like I don't know. Like I didn't. Again, Mael carried me, so I didn't have a problem. But
Yeah. Honestly, we kind of went over a lot of my other negatives. I think that kind of covers how I feel about everything that I wanted to go over with this.
Let's give some
So,
concluding thoughts.
yes,
we're pretty far into this one. I feel like we do need to wrap this up. I'm gonna let Connor go first.
Okay. I think the positives are all very strong.
The positives are still very
So
strong.
long
I
on
wanna
the negatives,
say-
you do have to.
Yes, I
There
do
was
want to
some
say
big
a lot of the things that I was disappointed about in late Act 2 into Act 3, it was only so disappointing because Act 1 felt so good.
Yeah.
Act 1 and it felt so strong that I was just disappointed because it didn't follow it up appropriately.
Yeah.
But it did hook me. I finished the game, and I think it was good. Like,
Yeah,
I think
it was
overall,
good.
it's a good game. I think that if anyone's thinking about things rationally, that obviously this is like an above average experience, and that
I think it's very above average. It's just that,
and for the price, it
Yeah.
is worth your time. Like,
definitely worth your time for the price.
it is absolutely worth the time you put into the game for the price because, again, it feels like a AAA experience, and it's so much, it's almost half the price.
Yeah.
So, 100% worth it. I think it's something that like, this is like Nathanael, like you've never been like really interested in playing turn-based RPGs or stuff like this, but
And I don't really want to after this, but I did like this one.
Yeah, but this is one that like even if you're not a fan of the genre, you can absolutely play the game.
Yeah, you definitely
and
can. You can
enjoy
find
it.
something here.
Right, like it definitely is it's in a very good spot for being what it is.
Yeah.
But I just think
You
the-
can't ignore the negatives.
the standard I hold narratives and campaigns and like stories to
Ooh, yeah,
just
yeah.
doesn't allow me to pretend like those don't exist. So
I would also like to say
Yeah.
that I feel like we are also being a little bit more harsh on this game in this review because of the glazing that it has received.
Agreed. I know I am. I know I'm
And
going
so-
harder on some of the nitpicks I might otherwise be a little bit more lenient towards
Yeah.
because I feel like I have to because so many other people aren't mentioning them.
So
Right.
I actually stayed pretty out of the loop when it comes to like the online community of the game up until it got nominated, and then it's all over my feed.
I've been keeping up with it since it launched.
Yeah, I haven't up until a week ago. It was completely off all of my social media, all my feeds. I didn't see any comments. I heard it was being
Lucky.
glazed, but I know I didn't see any of it. So a lot of my takeaways was actually from just playing the game. And then finding out later, I was able to see everything, but I don't know, like, just because reviewing it now, like, I don't know if that's making me harsher on it, but I was thinking all of these things as I was playing it.
We certainly were.
Yeah. Like, at a certain point during the plateau and stuff, I was just like, man, I really want to play Silksong now. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, it's time.
But I think like also like objectively though, for this being an indie studio's first game release,
It is still,
You
it's
know,
objectively
It's a monumental
really good.
achievement.
It's
it
a
is still
monumental
an insanely
achievement.
good
Absolutely.
game for a
So-
first outing.
yeah,
Yeah, I overall, like, my takeaway is a positive experience. I do think it was a good experience, and I'm glad I played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Do you have a number?
How many expeditions?
How many expeditions?
Expedition what?
Um,
Expedition what out of
Do you want to
10?
wait till I do mine?
Or do you want to do them all together at the end? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of like,
We can give you time to think about it while Nathanael goes.
it was really hard for me to like think of a number. Like, I just keep like going back and forth. Like,
Average it.
you go.
I
You
know
go.
the, I
I'm
know
gonna
the
go
two
first.
numbers he's
You
going
go.
between.
Before I entered Act 3 of this game was sitting at a 9 or 9.5.
Whoa.
Act 2 and
That's higher than
Act,
me.
Act 1 and Act 2 were like that good for me.
my
I
gosh.
really I was riding high on how good they were. Once I reached Act 3 and I realized how much it fell apart, it like, think of like the Lego game like crumbling sound. That's Act 3 for me. It fell apart so insanely hard that it really tanked the score. Like, it was a lot of these biggest issues that I've been bringing up tonight are almost exclusively Act 3 issues.
Seriously.
The
Yeah.
issues, the big issues I have that came about before Act 3 are nitpicks. The issues I have with Act 3 forward are actual issues.
Well, I think
Hard points. Yeah.
Or hard points,
Well,
yeah.
I think the thing with that is, as far as the ambiguity goes, which is one of the biggest problems, is
Yeah.
in Act 1 and Act 2, that is, in some ways, building suspense.
it was a strength.
Right.
Yeah.
But then when it gets to Act 3 and you're like, okay, I'm like 40 hours in.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a liability.
You guys got to start giving me something. Yeah, and it really was a
Please wrap it
liability.
up,
It was a big issue. So once we got to that point, a lot of those issues reared their head in a way that kind of made me reevaluate the way I was thinking about it, and I kind of realized maybe a lot of people didn't finish this game. I feel like maybe a lot of people that
I think
are
a lot of
talking
people
are playing this online didn't
finished it many times.
Oh no, there's a lot of people that finish it many times, but I think there's also a good chunk of people that are like the casual gamers that play this because other people told them to, and they're raving about it out online before having finished it. Because I think if you are looking at this objectively and you've played it all the way through the end, you can't look at all the issues post Act 2 and say that it's a 10. It cannot be a 10.
Yeah.
It literally cannot be a 10. It can be a 9 subjectively if some of these things don't matter to you and you are someone that doesn't care narrative first and you're like okay with the ambiguity, you're okay with some of the issues that are kind of making the game feel a little bit less polished in ways that we've talked about, but it cannot be a 10.
If you've played other good games,
If you've played any other games in the past 5 years that are narrative focused, more like not kid family friendly game, like if you played any like MA kind of game, basically in the past 5 years, like off the bat, God of War Ragnarok like does so many of these things so significantly better. The pacing, the story. Sorry, I don't need to get into like actual specifics. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is another example. Like even games that don't have good stories. Elden Ring does not have a good story. It's interesting, but it's not paced well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's paced well.
It
I
has
don't think
good
it's
lore, but it
explored.
doesn't have a good story.
The lore is
Okay, that's
interesting,
true.
but it's not written well.
That's true.
Even that does so many of these things. Like anyway, sorry. That's apples and oranges because it's not the same kind of game. You were talking about Persona 5. That's another example. A lot of other games like this do a lot of these things overall better. And yes, they're AAA games. So you can say, oh, it's because it's a smaller studio, it's an indie studio. I think they still need to be held accountable. People who rank kids movies and family friendly movies on a different scale because, oh, it's for kids. No, it's still a movie. You need to try to be fair about it. There are good kids movies.
Yeah.
Early Pixar, good kids movies.
Wall-E is one of the
Wall-E?
best
Yeah.
movies ever made. I still stand
A
on
lot
that.
of
Dude, so good.
It's a kids movie, but it's still made with everything done intentionally, and they thought about consistency. They
Still a
thought
piece of
about
art,
like artistry involved. You have to hold these people to the same accountability, to the same accountability. And I think if I'm going to hold them to the same accountability, and I'm going to take all these Act 3 forward issues that are actual big issues with the ending and with the writing and all that kind of stuff, even taking some of the nitpicks. I know some of them were really nitpicky, but taking some of those into it and then balancing it out with the positives, because there were a lot of positives. I'm having a really hard time getting it to an 8. I'm in between a 7 and an 8 because
That's where I am too.
I'm thinking
Okay.
I'm thinking 7.5. I've done 0.5s on here before.
I give it a 7.8.
7.8.
No, 7.8.
Yeah, 7, 8.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 7.5 for me. I'm having a really hard time
I was
justifying.
in the same thing. Okay, I was
yeah.
in the same number.
Like
That's crazy.
justifying an 8 is really hard for me after going over all these negatives, because some of these negatives are glaring, and 8 feels just too high for that.
Yeah.
8 feels like it needs to be reserved for something that has far fewer of these issues.
Yeah.
But there's too many to get it to that point. But I do still think that it does, like, the positives are so positive that 7 feels too low. So I really think 7.5
I
feels
agree.
accurate for me.
That's why I was deliberating. I was thinking the exact same thing.
I
I think about the positives. I'm like 8. Then I think about the negatives. I'm like So it's like.
There was a point where I was almost at a 6, and then I was like, but I can't ignore all the good
this is
stuff.
so funny because like when I was going into Act 3, I was sitting at like a solid 7.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I don't know if it's gonna get lower than this, but I'm already like, this is where I'm at. But oddly enough, somehow, and like looking at the bigger picture through the end, I was like, actually, I think it's a little better. It's better than that. But
Yeah.
I was weirdly expecting it to drop lower, but it didn't. So
Okay.
I will say, listening to the review, I was expecting like a 7.3.
Okay.
yeah.
I just 7 feels a little bit too low, because when you do see some of the things this game does really well, like some of the positives I said,
great.
it's just the positives you don't have to go into as specific, because like they're just good.
Yeah,
like the music for me, the like some of the other things with certain characters, with like the combat and like with the world building and like the context of why the world exists. A lot of those things, they're just good, and you don't have to get into the specifics of why it's good, because it's just good. But the negatives, a lot of people won't believe you, and they'll say, "Oh, it's personal preference. You're nitpicking. It's subjective, not objective." A lot of these are objective.
Hopefully, we've given reasons why.
Hopefully we've given enough examples of why it is actually objectively not good, as opposed to just subjective.
Yeah. But again, too, some of the negatives in a way too, where it kind of lends itself to not just be bad. It's like there's a lot of the end game content. Yeah, it's like I wish I could have done it. Like I would have done it if I wasn't so drastically underleveled.
Yeah.
But like I just can't. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have.
Is there a way
I
to
would've
like
gobbled it
level up quickly at all, to like even to be able to get to this
Not that the game
content, or is it,
emphasizes
like-
whatsoever.
or is it
Not-
like I'm
not-
gonna have to spend another 15 hours?
You have to
leveling
grind.
up my
You
character?
do have
surprised-
to grind.
I'm really ashamed you didn't catch the.
I did. I
okay.
was just focused, but I did get that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The whole that gobbled it up interview with the guys from Fantastic Four.
Yeah. He's like,
He's like gobbled up. He was just like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think this game is worth the amount of time you put into it,
yes.
and I can't say much more than that.
as someone who is like a backseat gamer for most of this, and you kind of experience this from like the backseat or like passenger side, basically, what would you give it, having not actually played it yourself?
The passenger princess score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I can't
He was
offer.
my captive audience.
Yeah. I can't offer. Yeah, it's like on one hand I'm like doing homework, on the other hand I'm like,
Yeah.
but and I mean I can offer a little bit of like a unique perspective, because I can say, compared to other narrative focused story driven games, when I think of a game like Ghost of Tsushima or like Uncharted 4,
Yeah.
games that rely heavily on the story and they deliver.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you're passively watching that. Like, you look over and you're like, okay, I can see where we are. I can see how this is progressing. I can see what the characters are doing. It's making all sense.
Yeah.
And I can immediately latch on and be like, all right, let's go. But
Right.
when I was watching this game, there were far more times where I look over and I'm like, what is going on?
How do you guys get to that point?
I couldn't
Yeah.
answer either.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what is going on? And then Connor's like,
Nah, bro, you had to be there.
Like Connor can't even. It's not even you had to be there. Connor's like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
You didn't tell them, did you?
Yeah, tell me.
yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, there were awesome fun parts, but I will agree with you, Nathaniel, where it's like Act 1 was a lot of the intrigue for me. And then, I mentioned this before where it's like Gustav dies, it's like replaced with like a husk of a character for a long time. It's like Act 2, I was waning. Act 3, they lost me.
Yeah.
I didn't play the game firsthand, so obviously you have to take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm giving it a 7.
Okay. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I do think that, like, I wish I could talk to other people about this. Like, I don't have too many other people that I know that have like played through this.
I don't know
that
anyone else that's played it.
Dude, I almost kind of feel like for our reviews,
online, and that's it. But like,
Yeah.
I almost feel like for our reviews, especially on like some games like this, like we need to have like 3 different scores. One that's like narrative focused, one that's like combat focused, and then one that's like whatever focused. Yeah. And then we average those 3s into like the overall.
See, I feel like the score I gave it kind of is doing that because I feel like from narrative stuff and from like
what would the narrative be?
characters-
Narrative,
Yeah,
alone,
but it's like if
guys.
you only had a narrative score,
If
would
it
be
was
like,
just narrative, it would be like a 4 or 5 for me.
Yeah, like
because
so
I,
it'd be
I
like,
think that a lot of that stuff falls apart at the end.
Yeah.
If I was talking gameplay wise, because of the issues I said in Act 3, where a lot of those gameplay things kind of came to play, I can't get it above a 5 or a 6. But when we're talking about combat and we're talking about music and stuff like that, those are like 8, 9 territory for me. And so 7 really is in the middle of those. Like if we are averaging 7, that's kind of what I'm thinking. in my head.
But I'm
7
just saying like we
is.
should break it out though even more so because I think it would just be also helpful for like viewers and stuff to be like, oh, they really like nailed down on the narrative in this game, rather for just like at a glance type situation. Yeah, I think that would be kind of fun to do.
It could be.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I do think that we've been going long enough. We'll talk next week, maybe some more about some other stuff. But
And the Game Awards are coming up.
Game Awards are coming up. We will be covering those.
Yes, you better believe after what we've said about Expedition 33, we're going to be a little cynical.
We're going to be critical on that kind of stuff
so
too.
look forward to that, and then also at some point we will have like a year in review episode.
Oh yeah,
That'll be good.
Talking about my favorite thing.
Hype moments and aura of the gaming sphere in the year.
Yeah. That's exactly what we'll be doing. I can't wait. We'll be reviewing what we played and things that are awesome 2025.
Yeah. I'm thinking that maybe after, because I'll be gone for Thanksgiving, so next Thursday no podcast.
We do have
same.
some. We have some we're sitting on though. Yeah.
We do have episodes that we're sitting on.
Yeah.
I was thinking that when we return, though, we should do a Where Winds Meet episode. All four.
I was thinking that would be fun.
I'll see if I can get any more time in that until that point. I don't know
Honestly,
if I want to.
You have 2 weeks. Just like
and also Nathaniel.
Well,
I'm
I'm
not going to play
most of those 2 weeks.
That's true.
Well, also Nathaniel. I mean, you're almost always in the driver's seat on these. Like.
I'm fine with taking a back seat.
You can have a chill pod.
I'm taking.
Yeah.
I can take a back seat. Yeah. Just ask questions.
Yeah, you can have like the chill roll.
Yeah. I rarely have that because I'm a very opinionated person.
You can
Because you played more games than all of us this year. That's why.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You can get up and go to the bathroom.
That's true.
Yeah. For once.
Yeah, I don't have to hold it anymore.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to leave it off. If you guys somehow are still with us 3 hours in,
we really like you.
Thank you. You're awesome.
Yeah.
And tune in next time for
Please
some more of our
don't dox
opinions.
us.
Please don't dox us for these normal, correct opinions
Please
here.
don't hurt me.
Bye.
All right.
Let us know what you think
bye.
about Expedition 7 out of 10.